It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard has something fun for all ages. New this year is Stefan's Country Drive. Antique cars where the kids are in the driver's seat. Plus, there's a new carousel. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is also opening a whole new part of the farm, the cider mill, with more than 50 other attractions included with admission. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is the place to be this fall. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska. Now open through October 31st.
If you love food, love fun, love fall, you'll love Vallis Pumpkin Patch best of all.
The passion and excitement of high school football continues every week, and the high school football update covers it all every Saturday morning. Join veteran sportscasters Jim Kelter and Torrey Pantalian Saturday mornings 8 to 10 on 1180 The Zone.
You're listening to Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Well, good news. The video stream has returned. So for those of you who have been taking in our programming via the video, you can return to 1620thezone.com and watch right there on the homepage. Of course, 1620 The Zone TV has a YouTube channel. You can watch there as well.
People forget.
Either way, but no matter where you're watching 1620 The Zone, it's always AM radio.
Well, the text machine has basically just turned into various football trash talk. Somebody without a name says, John, let me know when the Rams get 5 Super Bowl rings, then we can talk. Until then, go Niners.
Well, it's been 28 years. I mean, Nick wasn't even born, and Josh was barely out of diapers.
I was 6. I was well out of diapers at 6. Don't you make whatever joke you're about.
What about pull-ups?
I was out of pull-ups.
I don't think they had pull-ups back.
I was
when
a
Josh
smart
was
kid. Vince in Napa, California, who calls in and does wrestling promos on Bigger Overreaction.
And as a big Frisco fan, but again, I don't need to hear your trash.
No, he's talking trash to me. Even Colin Kaepernick has more playoff wins than the Dallas Cowboys since 1996. Is this true?
That's a good point.
So he won, let's see, he won 1 playoff game in 12, two playoff games in 2012. Then he won 2. Crap, he does.
He does.
No, he has the same amount. I think he has 4. Dallas has,
Well,
since
either way,
96.
it's been a while. Yeah.
Man, that stinks.
No, I was afraid of what was going to happen last night.
Dude, I don't understand how that team and the various iterations of that team have had the success.
Because they have a great, and the ironic thing is they didn't really run the ball. Well,
unironic.
I know their first touchdown was a rushing touchdown, but for the most part, yeah, they have a great game plan.
Yeah.
And when you can rush the passer like that.
Yeah.
Now, listen, as long as they don't have a quarterback, I'm not worried about Frisco winning a Super Bowl, but they're still a dangerous team. That's a great defense. That's why I'm not looking forward to this Sunday either. Dallas kind of built the same way, and great pass rush. And when you play smart offensive football, you don't try to get too cute. You just run it, short
That's
passing
it. You
game.
guys should be able to intercept Dallas's offense. Mr. Cooper Rush. He threw 2 interceptions that got called back because of penalties on the Washington football team on Sunday. So
yeah,
he does that a lot.
We'll see, but
he does that a lot.
It's just not, sometimes you just don't match up very well. I give Frisco credit. They always play very tough, very physical. And
this isn't me trying to talk to. They've won every regular season game going back to 2018.
7 in a row.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah,
hey, but
and
you got the most important one last year.
You know what that coincides with? No Todd Gurley.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
I mean, the Rams don't have a great running game, and I'll tell you what.
This goes back to the last regular season matchup in 18, right?
Yeah.
And that was the year he got hurt.
That, and then on the offensive side, my God, do they miss Odell Beckham? They need a compliment, and I thought Allen Robinson.
Take that, old man, Doug.
I thought Allen Robinson was going to be the guy. I thought, hey, you could plug him in.
I did too. I thought he was going to be good.
They barely targeted him. I think they targeted him twice. I can think of 2, maybe 3 times. They really miss him. I mean, they need someone to take the top off the defense, and they also don't have Van Jefferson. I'm not going to panic right now because they will get Van Jefferson back, and hopefully OBJ will be back. And I'm hoping that Robinson's going through the same growing pains as Beckham did, because Beckham really didn't start making an impact until about 3 or 4 games in. And he really didn't hit his stride until the postseason, especially the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He was going to be the Super Bowl MVP probably.
Yeah,
before he got hurt.
Yeah, with what he was doing.
He had a couple of long catches, or a touchdown. But it is what it is. We're now in a crappy division, and
hey, at least everyone is parity. You know, that's like a big positive.
And we can't all be the AFC.
You know what, too? In all seriousness, that I think is really big, and this is such an obvious statement to make, but it's just hard to get yourself back up mentally.
It is
after winning a championship.
It is.
It's a reason why we haven't seen a repeat champ in the NFL in almost 20 years. We don't even see it that much like in the NBA, like because compared to what we used to see.
That's true.
I have no takes on hockey and baseball. You don't see it as well. So
we see more. It seems like we see more repeat champions in hockey, at least recently, than we do. But it is. It's tough to repeat.
It's really, really
unless
difficult.
you're Nick Saban.
It's really. And even then, they haven't repeated since
that's true.
In about a decade.
Or Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Don't care about that. Definitely. GP and Jordan said basically they're asking about the dog. They want to know where the dog is.
Is Leo still in here?
Dog went out the studio.
Oh, he went out. Yeah,
sorry. The dog is gone.
They're still working on some other things here in the building.
We appreciate them helping out.
But Leo's
Chris and John doing great work.
Well, if I get a snapshot, we'll get a snapshot of Leo if you want to see him. But coming up, Whips and Bush.
Nice.
And this is my most favorite Whips and Bush yet. Whips was particularly good today.
Yeah.
Some of it, and it had to do, of course, with the yelling at Casey Thompson, but Whips was particularly frank. When I may say frank, I'm
Solich?
Not Frank Solich.
It's almost like everyone's extra.
Leo, come here, buddy.
Look at the doggy. There you go.
There he is.
Leo seems like a really good dog.
Oh, he's very friendly.
Nice. Oh, now it's a close-up of Nick's face.
Very friendly. Look at the handsome boy. Look at the handsome boy.
How old?
I have the mic on.
How old is the dog? Leo's 5.
Leo's 5.
Banks just turned 6.
About the same age as Riggs.
Yeah. Very cute dog. I can't believe they let Chris raise something. What a society!
Wow.
What a society we live in.
Be careful what hole you dig.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Chris.
All right, we'll come back with some Whips and Bush.
Nice.
And Brian Regan brings his comedy tour to the Holland Center on March 31st. Enter win a pair of tickets online at 1620thezone.com. Speaking of winning or at least qualifying, our qualification for 4-quarter pick'em coming soon. So be listening. Again, for folks who have missed us on the video stream is back up and running at 1620thezone.com. So you can switch over to that if you'd like, or just stay where you are. We appreciate no matter how you listen, but remember, no matter how you watch or listen, it's still AM radio. 1620thezone.com.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
When I need a new furnace or AC, I choose a company that provides solutions that meet my needs and budget.
When my furnace or AC needs repairs, I call a company with reliable technicians, not commissioned salespeople.
When I need a straight answer, I choose a company that is honest and has integrity.
At Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, we provide the best solutions for your needs and budget. It's just part of
the way we do the things we do.
Carrier, turn to the experts.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit uet.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Wondering about possible wind or hail damage? Call Shamrock Roofing first. If you have it, we'll find it. One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today, 913-850-6556, or online at shamrockroofer.com.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory, explore payment options, and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Get a full breakdown of what went right and what went wrong immediately after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Join the show immediately after the game and sound off with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Red Overreaction on 101.9 The Keg and 1620 The Zone.
Suicide can be prevented by knowing the warning signs, and most importantly, knowing what to do if you recognize those signs in yourself, a loved one, or even a stranger. There are simple ways you can be there for someone, so they can be here for more tomorrows. Visit moretomorrowsne.org to learn the signs, how to approach the conversation, and where to get help. Or call 988 for help now. That's moretomorrowsne.org.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Get ready for kickoff, Omaha. Rally House has the game day gear you're looking for, including Chiefs sideline gear and the latest college styles.
Nebraska Cornhuskers, Creighton Blue Jays, Hawkeye, Cyclones, Chiefs, and Royals. Rally House, Rally House. It's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry, you can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style. And they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
Cubby's supports the PACE program with Raise Some Dough. For every large pizza sold at Cubby's in the Old Market, Cubby's gives $1 to the Police Athletic League, serving at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children with athletic and educational programs. PACE has over 5,800 program participants. The league reaches kids that would not normally be able to participate in athletics like soccer and baseball due to financial situations and family dynamics. PACE wants to give every kid the opportunity at athletics and a healthy and safe environment. If you'd like to support PACE too, go to paceomaha.org.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Yes, it is time for Whips and Bush, the new hit detective series that is sweeping the nation, starring Mark Whipple and Bill Bush. And as I mentioned, Whips was particularly entertaining today, and it had partially to do with the sideline eruption that he had the other night, where he lit into Casey Thompson for holding the ball too long, and then the series after that where he pulled Thompson, and that, of course, resulted into the sack fumble that gave Indiana their first touchdown of the game. But here was Whipple. This is actually two parts.
Because he was a little wordy today.
He was very wordy today. I had to shorten these answers just a little bit, otherwise we'd be here all week. But here is part of Mark Whipple had to say today about the frustration, and it starts with not being able to score after the first drive. Nebraska, great first drive scoring team, but he goes on to talk about his frustrations that he's been having, and it has a lot to do with the fact that the team's not scoring after the first drive right away.
Because there's been, I think, 4 games we've taken the ball and scored the first drive. And then they just act like, well, yeah, okay, you know. I'm like, we don't, nothing against their defense. We don't have this 86 Bears defense. Okay,
85.
Your job is to score touchdowns, and it's just like you go 3 plays or whatever, we go 70 yards, and then you just start making mistakes. So, and my frustration a little bit was taken out on Casey, but he knows that I love him, and that part, and I think you can't do that with everybody, but he handled it really well and he responded.
So he was kind of expressing frustration at the offense in general, and it manifested itself through the one play that he was most frustrated with, and it just kind of all came out in that sideline eruption, and then he got pulled for the one series.
It is crazy, though, when you look at what this team has done in the first drives of all but one of the games that they have played. Against Northwestern, it was 8 plays, 75 yards, touchdowns.
And that was about, 3 minutes?
Yeah, against North Dakota, 8 plays, 87 yards, a touchdown in 2:02.
2:02.
The Georgia Southern game is the one that I mentioned, three and out. They had -1 yard in under 2 minutes. They were done. Against Oklahoma, obviously, they went down and scored 6 plays, 77 yards in 1:57. And then against Indiana on Saturday, 3 plays, 72 yards, 47 seconds. So it's two things. And you hit on it a couple seconds ago. It's not only that they're scoring, but they're scoring fast.
They are.
And then after that, it's just there's this huge drop-off. And so, like, on one hand, look, you're going to take a touchdown on 4 of your 5 drives. Like,
Sure,
you're going
of course
to you're going to take that. It's just about figuring out what happens after that kind of turns things around. The interesting thing, John, about Saturday was their next drive, 12 plays. The third drive, 6 plays. So at least they weren't going 3 and out. Now they did go 3 and out on the 4th drive because that was when they put Chuba on the field and had the touchdown in the end zone for.
Here's Mark Whipple elaborating a little bit more on the general frustration he had with the offense.
Well, it's probably like Spurrier said to Danny Werfel. He says, "Hey, I'm not mad at you, Danny. It's my problem because I put you in the game." So that basically is the same thing there. It's like you can't miss that chance for a touchdown with Cray's running wide open in that situation. And so, as I said, he bounced back, and I got to coach him better. My frustration, that part, I got to coach better. That's, I'm pointing the finger at myself.
Interesting. More of the coaches taking the blame, on their own.
Sure. But, it's shared. Blame is shared.
Of course it is.
Throughout the course of the team.
Greg Lincoln, name-dropping machine. He's very good at
He is a name-dropping machine, though. I hope that first one where he references the 86 Bears.
Yeah, tough look there, Mark.
It's the 85 Bears, and you know who won the Super Bowl in 1986? The Giants. Do you know where Nebraska's playing this week? New Jersey.
Oh, so is it the curse?
So it could be, that could be perceived. If Greg Schiano were Tom Allen, that would be perceived as a slight. And that would be bulletin board material.
Hey, that's stolen valor. That was our Super Bowl on the East Coast.
Exactly.
All right, interesting.
The frustrations also kind of manifested itself in his being upset at Turner Corcoran for the back-to-back personal foul penalties, which led to maybe what was Whip's best line of the day.
I've never seen anybody in my history that I told Cork have 2 15-yarders in 2 back-to-back plays. I mean, we talk about these things all the time. So, that's the frustrating part. And Cork's one of our better players. So Casey's one of our better players. And, so I don't know. I guess in my history, when I walk around being a nice guy, it just doesn't work as well as when I'm a dick. Okay, I don't know why, and that's just what I told the kids on Monday. I said, "Look, man, I'm down here. Just when I have something across my rear end, guys, we just play better, and that's really what it was like at halftime."
Wow,
he was particularly good today.
Yeah,
he was particularly good today. Here's an interesting bit with Trey Palmer. He's on pace to just wipe out the receiving record books for a single season. But there are also some hidden yards that have not gone on his ledger.
He's probably got, I don't know for sure, but he's probably got, I know he's got at least 5. He had 2 PIs against him, which to me is you'd rather have a touchdown, but you count those are all first down catches and everything else. So those don't go into stats that much, but that's an important statistic to me. And so it's not just his catches and numbers, but he's making a lot of first downs. So and well liked by his teammates.
This also was particularly interesting because he was asked if the team's expectations, the players' expectations of what they can accomplish match what he believes they're capable of, which led to this interesting response from Mark Whipple.
I don't know if they really think we can win every game. I don't. So we're good enough, I think. Okay, I'm not a genius, but we can win. We can win 7 games. We can win these games. All right, we already threw away 3 of them. I mean, Oklahoma kicked our rear, but I said, that's the expectation. Is like, hey, not just to go to a bowl game. We can win the West. That's what it is. So you're in first place. Act like it and play like it.
That's got to electrify at least a few folks.
You wonder
that the Jack Mitchells of the world are nodding their heads violently in agreement.
Quite the confidence that seemingly is come into this place, and I would say inside and outside the program. Dare I say, out of nowhere, it was one victory over Indiana. But look, that's the way they should be viewing it. It's a bad division. Everyone but one team's 1-1, and the team that's not 1-1, they're 0-2. They're 0-2, and they were the favorite coming into the year. So look, it in theory, man, it's all out in front of them. They don't own the tiebreaker over Northwestern, but that doesn't matter because Northwestern's not going to do it.
Which then led to this. He basically he's saying the quiet part out loud. Well, the part that we can all say out loud, but you don't hear very often from coaches. Listen to how he responded when he was asked about, how competitive the West was.
Competitive. I don't know if it's quality, but it's competitive. It doesn't matter, right? Numbers are numbers. You can play them any way you want. It's like, hey, the schedule ahead of us is we're in great shape. We're in great shape. That was the goal. What I said to him when I got here is to win the West and get to Indianapolis. And that's after half the season or 5 games. Northwestern has to lose, obviously, but I just pointed that out to him.
Yeah.
I love that, though.
It's so true.
Not quality, but...
And like you said, coaches don't really say that.
No,
say it in
they
such
don't.
blunt terms.
But it's obvious. It's obvious to everybody in the room.
Yeah.
Arguably, the team that seems to have the most momentum right now is a team no one really gave much of a chance of winning the division, and that's Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota took a stumble last week. We know Wisconsin's in bad shape, and Nebraska because they've already fired their coaches. You can be as nice as you want to be, but Iowa's offense is a dumpster fire.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Purdue has flaws. So, yeah, it's as plain as the nose on everyone's face.
I'm trying
the
to
West
figure
Division sucks.
Like, are we overreacting to one loss by Minnesota? To say this, they don't have their best player on the football field in that game. So are we overreacting to Minnesota, or did we overreact to Minnesota in the weeks preceding that? And we're probably staring down the barrel at a 5-4 in conference division champion coming out of the Big Ten West.
It's certainly possible.
Another team to just get bludgeoned by Ohio State or Michigan in the conference.
Now, listen, you can look at it one of many ways, but yes, Minnesota has been impressive against every team it's played, and so that counts for something. But they also, prior to Purdue, didn't play anyone who had much of a pulse. Michigan State is bad, and their non-conference schedule was weak. So you can look at it in a variety of different ways. We did it yesterday. We did the exercise of predicting out the schedule. You and I both still had Minnesota winning the division.
Yeah, and I think one of us had them at 6.
I had them at 7-2.
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's why I wonder: are we overreacting to one weekend, or are we overreacting to the month that preceded it?
We'll find out.
Chris says, "Used to not be a fan of whips, but now I have to be." Dude just throws the coach speak out the window. He does. And he's always been this way, right? Like his first day, what does he do? Yeah, Casey's number 1. He's been doing this immediately, though I would say he's gotten a little more blunt as of late.
Now, this we just got.
This is Whipple.
This is Mark Whipple.
This is Whipple.
This is Mark Whipple.
It's expanding on a clip that we actually just heard, but he
Right.
adds something there at the very end.
We're good enough, I think. Okay, I'm not a genius, but we can win. We can win 7 games. We can win these games. All right, we already threw away 3 of them. I mean, Oklahoma kicked our rear, but I said, that's the expectation. Is like, hey, not just to go to a bowl game. We can win the West. That's what it is. So you're in first place. Act like it and play like it. So that's again takes time, but hey, I'm a realist. If we don't get there, I'm not going to be here anyways. So I told them that. And we win the West, I'll ride Mickey's coattails.
Speaking of being blunt, I'm not going to be here anyway if we don't win it.
Right. But if we do win the West, I'll ride Mickey's coattails.
Yeah, fascinating.
So
Absolutely
he's basically saying, hey, we win the West, Mickey's going to get this job and I'll be his offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Or at least he thinks he will be.
Yeah, fascinating, And so, again, that's what shows him just being, very, very, very blunt. Very blunt.
So that was the Whips part of Whips and Bush. I'm not going to get to as much of Bill Bush today, but I did want to play a couple of these because he talked about it last week. It was emphasized by Mickey Joseph after the game and also yesterday, but why the defense was better. And it was really very, very simple. It was all about alignment.
Yeah, as far as our cleats were in the ground. There might be time like that. I'm sure maybe sometimes Silpy maybe saw the nickel inside or should have been outside or something like that. But our feet were in the ground. You never went through and just went, oh my God, we're not lined up. Number 2's not covered. 1's uncovered. The tight end, so they got lined up really well in that spot. And then, like I said, there's always maybe some shades or some things that could be better for us, but very happy with that. Let's go 96% simple. That way I don't get myself in a pickle.
Yeah, earlier he had said 100% of it, or he implied that every time they were in proper alignment. And then at the end of that quote, he corrects himself and say, yeah, just in case, I'll say 96% of the time. But that was the thing they identified pre-snap that was costing them, was they weren't aligned properly. They weren't set. They didn't have people covered. They didn't know what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things they worked on. The rest of it, how you execute after the ball is snapped is a different thing. But a good chunk of the battle, dare I say half the battle, is just making sure you're in the right spot when the ball is snapped. This I thought also was interesting. Ty Robinson has, quite frankly, been a disappointment when you consider how high he was recruited and what was expected, his size, his frame, all of it. But he has been coming on as of late, and he did make a splash play against Indiana, recorded a sack, and one of the motivating factors may have been one of the guys who was in the broadcast booth.
Matt Millen did the game, so I talked with him a lot day before the game, and then I talked to him a lot on game day, and he talked to me about Ty. He goes, seems like he's very talented. He goes, there's probably more in him. So me and Ty sat down and talked about that exact comment with him. I said, and I go, he's right. I said, there's more in you like that, and he had more in him on Saturday. What he did was he always plays hard. There's not an issue with playing hard, but he made more plays.
And that means something, a guy who's got, the kind of credentials that Matt Millen does as a player. To hear it from somebody else, to say, hey, I see something in this guy.
Yeah.
And it's there. And you could kind of hear that when Millen was talking about Robinson in the game, saying, hey, this guy's got more in there. And it's just a matter of getting it out of him. It'll be fascinating to watch how he develops the rest of the season, if maybe this is something that they can carry through the rest of the way.
Yeah, and again, going back to the clip that you played previously, alignment, just it seems like all these simple things that if they can change them. How many times did we ask the question over the last 2-3 weeks? What can they do differently? Well, it seems like they're doing stuff differently. It's just the most basic of things. And, that can result in the defense, and really all parts of the program being better.
We have a where did you hide the sports flash? Nick's been out of, gosh, you hide everything.
Sports flash.
What happened?
Time for an Unsportsmanlike Conduct Sports Flash update. Sports Flash. From the Sports Flash Sports Desk.
I don't see it. What happened?
A Yankee has hit a home run, and we just missed Nick's.
Oh, man.
And Aaron Judge was not the guy to hit the home run. It was Kyle Higashioka.
So wait, the
who hit a
Sports
home
Flash
run.
was somebody else hit a home run?
Well, it was the guy ahead of Aaron
Judge.
Aaron Judge.
It's got to be your bull.
Who hit the home run. And then Judge follows with a base hit to center.
Okay.
But Higashioka wears number 66, which is 99 turn upside down.
Is that a Sports Flash? Numbers?
Yes.
You look at a 6 and turn it upside down, it's a 9? Nice. And then you turn it again, it's a 6 again?
So it's kind of like Aaron Judge hit a home run, which would have been number 62.
How about that? Chris just pointed out, on this day in 1922, entire World Series is broadcast over the radio for the first time.
I know, I mentioned that.
We talked about it earlier.
Oh, was that when I was gone?
No, that's literally when we were in here making fun of Nick calling the play-by-play.
I must have missed that. I'm sorry.
We're just missing everybody's jokes today.
I know. Yeah, we really are. Yeah, we missed him. We missed this.
All right, well, no 60-second home run for Aaron Judge.
And no play-by-play for Nick.
And no play-by-play for Nick, unless you want to call this Anthony Rizzo at bat. Oh, but we're out of time because Michael Bruntz is coming up next here on 1620 The Zone. So you're sitting there in the bathtub waiting. Oh, come on, little blue pill. You're supposed to kick in. That's the thing they don't show you in the ED pill commercials. Yeah, it's cute when they're sitting there in the bathtubs holding hands in separate bathtubs. But they don't tell you about the whole waiting process. Just because you take the pill doesn't mean it just fires off right away. Well, if you would like it to fire off right away, that's the advanced wave technology available at Brookside Medical, because the advanced wave technology has been shown by Cambridge University to restore and regrow blood vessels. That helps improve blood flow and restore normal erectile function. You see, taking the little blue pill is not normal. It works, don't get me wrong, but there are side effects, and you have to wait. No waiting. And if you call Brookside right now at 402-671-7777, you can get a free consultation and blood flow ultrasound to find out if the advanced wave technology can work for you. So contact Brookside today and stop waiting. That number is 402-671-7777 for Brookside Medical.
Irrational confidence.
I've said this all along. You're going to be able to convince me that a lot of these things that could end up happening are going to work. I don't think it's, now this is probably it doesn't give enough credit to the people who do it. I just don't think it's that hard.
Wow. Not that hard, huh?
That they haven't been doing.
He's got those 47 games.
Damon, I told you to not take offense to this. Just do the fundamental things, and then we'll see where this lands.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast, presented by Bellevue Berry and Pumpkin Ranch, from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Most of the afternoon hours will be dominated with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions, with temperatures approaching the upper 70s and lower 80s. There's a small chance of scattered rainfall throughout the evening, especially after 7 o'clock. Best chances of rainfall will be after midnight tonight. By the time we're waking up for early Wednesday morning under partly cloudy skies, with temperatures cooling into the mid-50s. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KTV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Trees supply oxygen, provide shelter, and reduce pollution. They're a symbol for life. Lanahaw Nurseries is the metro area's premier homegrown tree source. Leave a legacy that matters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
It happens every day, and homeowners are victims every time, unless they call us. Hi, this is Garen Armstrong with Shamrock Roofing. Recently, a local homeowner with an aging roof had two well-known roofing companies out. Neither found hail damage for an insurance claim, but both happily submitted bids for a new roof. Then, the homeowner called Shamrock Roofing. We found significant hail damage and sat with the homeowner when he filed his claim. We were there again when the insurance adjuster came out. And when the insurance company tried to deny the claim, the homeowner appealed with his evidence from Shamrock. The insurance company then approved the full claim for a new roof. Shamrock Roofing helped the homeowner get his roof when the other roofing companies could not. That is exactly why we say call Shamrock Roofing first. especially if you're wondering about possible wind or hail damage. If you have it, we'll find it. One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today or find us online at shamrockroofer.com.
We are well underway with the NFL season, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. It's that easy. Just sign up with promo code HAPPER. There's so many different options for you guys when you look at the FanDuel sportsbook. You can go inside the game. You can take the money line and the spread, or take the individual player props. We like some of the season-long ones that we've been talking to you about. Endless options over at the FanDuel Sportsbook, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So sign up today with promo code HAPPER for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code HAPPER, HAPPER. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Guys, want an effective, affordable way to get ED medication 100% online? Whether you're looking for Viagra or Cialis, or generic medications as effective as Viagra but 90% cheaper, you can find it all through HIMS. HIMS is your go-to for doctor-trusted treatments to help you treat ED. Get ED treatment for as low as $3 per use and save up to $1,000 per month with generic for Viagra versus the brand name at 4hims.com/radio. If prescribed, your medication will be shipped to your door in discreet packaging. Do it all online. No in-person appointments. Get hard results with HIMS or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/radio to get your first visit free. That's 4hims.com/radio to get started free. forhims.com/radio.
An estimated 80% of Americans aren't getting their recommended daily amount of physical activity. It's time to move and keep moving, America. And when you need help, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side. Be your own champion. Choose more movement. Choose better health. Choose physical therapy. Find out more information and a physical therapist at choosept.com/NE. Brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association of Nebraska.
Get ready for the scare of a lifetime, because Madness Haunted House is back once again. Seek the thrills and horror at the new location at Pioneer Trail Orchard. Over 2 acres and 30 minutes of quality screams and fear. Madness Haunted House, the haunt that wouldn't die.
It's unsportsmanlike conduct.
Emotional tug.
The 1620. The Zone.
Here's a story of a man named Bruntz who covers Husker sports, boys and girls, like football and basketball, even weightlifting, like front squats and curls. Then one day, good old Bruntz called a talk show, and acting on what they thought was a hunch, John and Josh wanted to start a family. And now we get to talk to Michael Bruntz. It's Michael Bruntz. Michael Bruntz. Now we get to talk to Michael Bruntz.
He is Michael Bruntz of Husker247.com. Good afternoon, Michael.
Hello.
Hey.
Rather interesting media session today, I thought, from both assistant coaches, but particularly Mark Whipple, who just he's always been more direct, less on the coach speak, very blunt, but talking about the interchange or the interaction he had with Casey Thompson, his frustrations with the offense, being blunt about the nature of winning the West. There's a lot to chew through there.
Yeah, he's firmly in non-coach speak, I don't really care mode, what people have to say about it, that's a great place to be, I think.
Are you surprised at all, Bruntz, that, I don't know, maybe he is being so open, or should it not shock us, especially, like there was the quote when we just played it towards the very end of last segment, where he kind of just says, like, look, I'm not going to be here, or if I am, it's because I'm riding, Mickey's coattails. I think I don't know. I find him so refreshing just because he says all the things that maybe us as fans and media members are saying too.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too, Mickey said it. I mean, he said that they wanted to essentially just leave it better than they found it.
Yeah.
And they'll kind of see where they're at the end of the season. So I think it's a little refreshing whenever you have a pretty realistic view of what's going on there. And, I think the players are wise to what's going on. And, oh, by the way, you still have a chance to potentially win the division if you can kind of get things going a little bit with, the offense and defense. So there's a lot going on. And, they're in the midst of a 3-game stretch that's going to determine a lot about, what this ultimately looks like. And I guess which coaches are probably around next season.
One of the players that Whipple was asked about and he singled out was Trey Palmer. And it led me to think about this because we've obviously, anytime you have a quarterback, like Casey Thompson, he's an extremely important part of the offense. We've already sung the praises and the abilities of Anthony Grant. But Trey Palmer as well, who is on track to set a lot of records. And really, it was the long touchdown pass early in the fourth quarter that regenerated the offense and helped complete. Gave him the lead and helped them finish off that game strong. The obvious answer is probably still Casey Thompson, but could you make an argument that either Palmer or Grant is one of those Huskers that they can least afford to be without on offense?
I think Grant would probably be a little bit more ahead of the other two in my mind. Certainly Casey Thompson, extremely important. And, I think they would be in a world of hurt if he, wasn't able to play. The one thing I think you can say about Trey Palmer is it's been a while since Nebraska's had a guy that can just go and take the top off of the defense. I mean, that play in the fourth quarter, they basically told Casey Thompson, get the ball in the air and Trey will go get it. And that's the key to a Mark Whipple defense, is having that deep threat and being able to take deep shots. But also it just kind of keeps defenses from being able to cheat in on Grant and what Nebraska's got going in the run game. So as he continues to put more on film and show what he can do as a deep threat, I think that's only going to help the offense. And, you don't have to hit on a huge percentage of those deep balls. I mean, you just got to hit one or two, and that can completely change the complexion of a game. So I think what you're seeing now with him is, I think, what the coaches kind of hoped he would be when he transferred from LSU. I think the one thing they want to know, and I think they believe is still out there, is they think he's probably got a big punt return in him.
Yeah.
And we'll see if they can actually get that set up. But that's kind of the one thing that he hasn't shown yet, is that ability to make a game-changing special teams play.
Bruntz, Nebraska's defense had allowed over 400 yards or 500 yards a game, coming into this one, over 6 yards of play, almost 6 yards per rush. And on Saturday, it was 290, 4.3, and 2.9. Indiana's offense had a possession end on downs. They had an interception. Of course, they had a couple of touchdowns, and they punted 11 times. I wonder what you saw on Saturday that you think can translate to other games, and how much of what happened Saturday was the opposition that they went up against.
Yeah, I mean, I think not having the two top receivers on a team that wants to throw it around, that definitely helps. I mean, I think you have to kind of throw that caveat out there. But I think what you saw a little bit more of a simplified approach. I think what they were emphasizing in the practices leading up to that game was just simply get lined up and play with aggression. I mean, and you saw guys kind of flash in that game that haven't done so, this season and almost throughout their whole careers. I mean, that was the first time I remember kind of hearing Ty Robinson's name called for the good things since he's, been at Nebraska. I think he was playing pretty free, and I know that they really challenged him to do that. I thought Luke Reimer kind of the same way, where he was using more of his athleticism, didn't seem to be playing a step slow. So I think they can kind of take that into the next few games, are just, making simple plays, tackling better. I think, for the most part, they tackled better in that game. And, too, I just think the defense was a group that just badly needed confidence. I mean, they were kind of carrying themselves like a dog that's been kicked a few too many times by the time they played Oklahoma. And I think when you have a game like that, it at least gives you a little bit of swagger, and that can always help a defense, I think.
Malcolm Hartzog. Is this one of the more unlikely names to appear in a significant role we've seen in a while?
On defense, there's a few wide receivers I can think of that have gotten in there.
But did any of them win Freshman of the Week?
Yeah, definitely not. But it's funny though. I mean, you look at his background and where he played in Mississippi and the stuff that he did as a high school player. He was just one of those guys that makes plays, and he's just kind of that football, air quotes, football player that just knows where to be, has a good feel for the game, and maybe it just took the coaching change to really get a good hard look from the coaching staff. And I thought he held up pretty well. I know he gave up the one long one that was frankly just a pretty good throw by Indiana's quarterback, but he scored the special teams touchdown. I think that they showed trust by keeping him in there late in the game when the game was tight. So that's something you can build off of. I'll be curious to see, as they get further into the Big Ten season and you face a few more run heavier teams, how he kind of holds up. But I think, he's probably example number one of what the staff wanted to do in the bye week and giving guys opportunities to go in there and show what they can do.
Bruntz, how did the Wisconsin news land to you?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
How did the news about Paul Chryst getting fired, how did it land to you?
Like a giant block of cheese.
Well, the first thing I did, I looked at his record. I was kind of like, I didn't think it was really that bad over his time there. It feels a little Solich-Pelini-ish to me. But I do kind of wonder if things just kind of got to the point where strategically and long-term for that program, they had to kind of make a decision about whether or not they were going to give Jim Leonard a good look. Yep. And, you've got the Lance Leipold stuff out there, and there's actually, some coaches that might be options that also have Wisconsin ties too. I mean, Dave Doran was an assistant at Matt in Wisconsin for a while. So it's a tough move to make though, as Nebraska well knows. I mean, when you're a 9-10 win program, whoever you bring in, it better be able to keep that going quickly. And so I think it's I would kind of look at it as more of a roll of the dice that I would not usually associate with a Wisconsin program. So I was definitely surprised by the timing of it, and I'm really eager to kind of see what direction they go, because it seems like they were kind of boxed in a little bit almost to just a couple options that they have to go with.
Mickey Joseph said yesterday that Bryce Benhart and Hunter Anthony are going to continue to split time, but how long before Anthony becomes 1A and Benhart 1B?
Yeah, it feels like an extended tryout.
Yeah.
I think they felt he played okay against Indiana. I think if he plays well against Rutgers, I think that could be enough to vault him into that spot. I mean, with Benhart, it always just seems like, teams have figured out that if you overload that side and kind of force communication and choices to be made about who to block, that you're going to be able to get to the quarterback. And Nebraska's offense just can't afford those kinds of mistakes right now. So, I think the opportunity is there for Hunter Anthony. And I think, too, you kind of have to give a little bit of credit there that they're at least willing to give the backup a shot. I mean, we're kind of talking about it on our podcast today, but it seems almost kind of novel that, you're seeing guys pulled and guys rotated and things like that. I mean, it's been a while since you can kind of point to multiple examples of that happening.
Michael Bruntz, Husker247.com. Bruntsy, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
Bye, Bruntz.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Michael Bruntz, who joins us every Tuesday here on the program. Speaking of every Tuesday on the program, Mike Ferrin will join us in a few minutes. I think we may get one more
Play-by-play from
Aaron
Nick?
Judge at bat, and it may happen during Ferrin's segment.
And he throws the bat.
They're in the bottom of the eighth. Yankees up 5-4.
He didn't throw the bat.
Well, maybe he will this time.
I believe at least one Yankee. I believe one Yankee has to reach for Judge to get in at bat. I believe. Maybe two. We'll see. But we'll be on standby, and then we can hear the dulcet tones of Nick Grimm,
Future play-by-play voice of the world. He's coming for Kevin's job.
the Mel Allen of the 21st century. Some people call
That's
him.
what people are calling him.
Because believe me, after you hear Nick call a game, you will be exclaiming, "How about that?"
The Jim Rose play-by-play is what they're calling.
The
Yes.
John Bishop of baseball?
Wow. No, that's mean. Man.
Wow, I can't believe it.
Wow, okay.
I'm just going
I
to
see how it is.
transfer right away and say I was visiting with my new friends at Woodhouse Ford here in Omaha, just north of Maple on 72nd. Want to say a quick shout out to Brett, Mike, and Paul, the sales managers up there. Did a great job. They had a beautiful Creighton blue Ford Bronco Everglades that had just been delivered to a lucky customer who had placed it on order. This thing looks sharp. I mean, really sharp. The tires were so gleaming in black, it looked like the tires were painted. That's how bright and shiny this vehicle was. Well, speaking of vehicles, you can find your next certified pre-owned vehicle at Woodhouse Ford today. All 3 Woodhouse Ford locations are now Ford Blue Advantage dealers with certified pre-owned vehicles on their lot that are ready to test drive and take home. The Ford Blue Advantage program allows for peace of mind while shopping their extensive inventory in-store or online. The program is packed with additional benefits for you and your new vehicle. Each vehicle must pass a multi-point inspection before entering the program. You can also receive comprehensive limited warranty coverage, money-back guarantee, and 24/7 roadside assistance. Plus, take advantage of the exclusive interest rates through their certified pre-owned program. Visit one of their 3 convenient locations. I mentioned the one in Omaha, also in Blair or Plattsmouth to get started. You can also shop Ford Blue Advantage benefits anytime and anywhere online at WoodhouseFord.com. Ford Blue Advantage at Woodhouse Ford. Used car buying that's built for you.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620, The Zone.
Sonic has something delicious for you. Hey, announcer guy, that's your cue.
With the Sonic 2 for $5 menu, mix and match a quarter-pound double cheeseburger, small jumbo popcorn chicken, or a Fritos chili cheese wrap. Any 2 for just $5.
Well, I know you, but I'm definitely craving that previously mentioned Sonic.
Sonic. Exclusions apply. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins. Fritos is a trademark of Frito-Lay North America Incorporated. Copyright 2022.
You know those buddies who magically become medical professionals when you're not at the top of your game? The ones who say, "Come on, muscle through it," but then also say, "Hey, you should probably see my specialist," or surgery or pain meds. It's almost always false, false, and false. Athletico's physical therapists, the same therapists who work with professional athletes, can tackle those little aches and pains from the start, before they become big ones. So next time, don't believe everything you hear. Instead, start with Athletico. Schedule your free assessment at athletico.com.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Guys, want an effective, affordable way to get ED medication 100% online? Whether you're looking for Viagra or Cialis, or generic medications as effective as Viagra but 90% cheaper, you can find it all through Hims. Hims is your go-to for doctor-trusted treatments to help you treat ED. Get ED treatment for as low as $3 per use and save up to $1,000 per month with generic for Viagra versus the brand name at forhims.com/radio. If prescribed, your medication will be shipped to your door in discreet packaging. Do it all online. No in-person appointments. Get hard results with Hims or your money back. Go to forhims.com/radio to get your first visit free. That's forhims.com/radio to get started free. forhims.com/radio.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard has something fun for all ages. New this year is Stefan's Country Drive. Antique cars where the kids are in the driver's seat. Plus, there's a new carousel. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is also opening a whole new part of the farm, the cider mill, with more than 50 other attractions included with admission. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is the place to be this fall. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska. Now open through October 31st.
If you love food, love fun, love fall, you'll love Alice Pumpkin Patch best of all.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
So one Yankee has to reach here in the ninth to give Aaron Judge another crack at it. I mean, we're literally talking, there could be maybe 5 at-bats left in his regular season.
It's nuts how much this pace has slowed down.
Oh, yeah.
Slowed way down.
It's almost as if the ghost of Roger Maris is saying, "Thou shalt not break my record."
And is the Maris family, are they still traveling?
Unclear.
Okay. Oh, is he going to get on base? No.
Well, not yet. There's still
I was
one
saying
out.
that guy. I was saying that guy's not going to get
one
on
out
base.
here in
Gotta be
the ninth.
base.
The Yankees are winning. Mike Ferrin's going to join us to talk some baseball here in a little bit, but
baseball.
Paul Christ did accept a lower buyout. He was due over $20 million.
He's taking 11.
And he's taking 11, according to athletic director Chris McIntosh, in 1 or 2 installments. The money's coming from private funds. Chris actually got a new contract extension last October, which included a raise of $900,000 and a total compensation package of $5.25 million per year. So what this new buyout is going to do, if Chris had taken another Division I coaching job or a pro football job during the time where he was getting buyout money, then Wisconsin could subtract his new salary from the buyout he was due.
Okay.
Now, with this new buyout, that ends on February 1st. So if Chris waits it out, he can get the $11 million in total from Wisconsin. Plus, he wouldn't get docked for any new salary that he has made. But still, he's giving up almost $9 million to do this.
As we said yesterday, it seems like there's just more to this, right?
More to this. I think by more
By
to
the way,
this.
second batter just struck out too.
More to this. And I know this is going to infuriate some folks around here who thought that Scott Frost should do the exact same thing. I think part of this is a hometown discount. I think Chris,
why?
I know. I think part of it. I'm not saying the whole thing. I do think Chris wants to leave on good terms. There's been talk that maybe by doing this, that Wisconsin will bring him back in a different capacity. Maybe not next year, but down the road, like an administrative position, executive athletic director emeritus or something, where he could get some kind of a cushy retirement job.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that just thinks this is the Paul Christ way. He's a different cat.
Sure.
He's a very, down to earth, plain spoken. He's not.
But dude, it's giving him $9 million.
I know.
Just to be nice.
It's the only thing I think those things together.
I think you hit on it. I mean, there are many people theorizing that he's going to have a job within the athletic department. That would make sense, right? Because he doesn't want to go out on bad terms,
right?
And so he still wants to be there.
But if this were like let's say this was the Pittsburgh job, which is where he came from, let's say he got fired from the Pittsburgh job. I don't think he takes the hometown.
So you think a lot of it is that part?
I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of, hey, we'll bring you back in another capacity down the road when you're done with the coaching thing, and a hometown discount. Listen, $11 million is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's not. But I mean, it would have been almost double.
Oh,
that
I
amount
know.
of
It's
money.
very unorthodox.
Yeah.
Which is why I do think part of it is kind of baked into the personality of Paul Chryst. And I mean, he's put in 30 plus years of his life as part of either directly or indirectly this program.
It's just like, sometimes we'll see guys take a buyout, but it's so they can quote unquote resign, so they can leave with their head held high. He didn't resign. He got fired, so it's like, oh, Aaron Judge is going to get in at bat.
Which means we get to enjoy a Nick Grimm call. Here it is, top of the ninth, 5-4 Yankees.
Come on, Aaron.
Aaron Judge stuck on 61 home runs. Nick Grimm, take it away.
The legendary Yankee batter is making his way up to the plate. He's bending over, and then he stood back up. The crowd watches with anticipation, their iPhones aflutter.
There might be some androids in there, Nick.
Nah.
Aaron the Judge puts his bat on the plate. He's getting ready.
God, I hope Ferrin drops in here in the green room soon.
Hurry, Mike.
His brow twitching with anticipation. Oh, here comes
Can't see
the
that
pitch.
even on an HD TV.
Here comes the pitch. He ground ball to the dude and in the second base, and the guy running to second's out, and Judge is also out, I think. Is he out?
The inning's over.
The inning's over.
The
folks.
inning is over.
Dang, that was fast.
Baseball.
You know what? You know what that was? That was Aaron Judge saying, I can't sit through another 7 pitch at bat listening to this.
Yeah.
I'm going to hack at the first pitch. And I'm just going to end this now so we don't have to listen.
Oh, you think you could hear me?
Sadly, I think we all could hear you there, Nick. GB says leaving $9 million on the table is insane unless his future job there is a very, very high paying.
I know, but
See, I just don't
it's
know
the only-
where this he's a weird guy comes from that he would just give up $9 million. Like, where does that?
I don't think he's a weird guy. He's just different.
But how is he that? Like, where does this difference show?
Well, what else could it be?
I think he's
I think my theory is a lot more plausible than there's a scandal.
Oh, definitely. It's not
and that he's doing it to save face.
No, I think he's going to have a job there. I don't think him being a weird guy has anything to do with it, though.
No, I think it has. Listen, if he could have pressed for it and said, you know what, I don't need this job. Because first of all, another job there is not going to pay him $9 million for the rest of his life, more than likely.
Well, then,
so he still comes out behind. I do think his loyalty and his personality has at least something to do with it.
Yeah, but you could turn it around on them and say your loyalty to me should result in me getting the full buyout. You guys signed the contract,
I'm not disagreeing with
It'd be interesting to see if this means anything for the coaching search. Like Zach says, Wisconsin negotiating the buyout, I think that isn't good optics for future coaches. I think that's why Trev made the comment that Nebraska has a history of fully honoring contracts rather than negotiating them down.
All right, coming up next, Mike Ferrin will join us, and sadly, we will not see an Aaron Judge home run today.
Is he ever going to hit one again?
Well, I guess technically we could.
That's right. They're having a doubleheader today.
Well, Texas.
Oh, you're saying extra innings?
Texas could.
They don't have a doubleheader, do they? The Mets.
No,
do.
the Mets do. Yeah. We're going to switch over to the Mets game here in a little bit.
Meet the Mets.
This week's zone deals for Scary Acres, home of Omaha's 3 greatest haunted attractions, the Masters Castle House on the Hill, and the Nick Grimm play-by-play. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, God!
The Haunted Woods. Get 2 passes to Scary Acres for just $28. They go on sale this Friday at 1620thezone.com.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. As far as accidents go, should have some smooth sailing out there this afternoon. Roadwork still has traffic down to 1 lane on the northbound JFK, causing delays from Gilmore Ave to L Street. If you're south on the JFK, delays going from I-80 to L Street. Slow going for both directions on Highway 275 between 165th and Center. And then it looks like there's a slight delay if you're east on L Street between 108th and 96th. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Introducing the Universal Monsters $5 scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery with a $50,000 top prize featuring Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and The Mummy. Top prize odds 1 in 96,000.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We continue to grow and add new customers. Many employers are looking for new ideas for their staff as people return to the office. Our pantry service is a great office amenity for staff and guests. Fresh food, snacks, coffee, water, and other beverages for employees and guests. Enhance your office experience with pantry service from Host Coffee. Learn more at hostcoffee.net.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Planning something fun for your office, family, or friends? Joe's Karting is for you. Take a break. Come to Joe's to race, relax, and recharge. Great for team building. Ditch the speaker and burn some rubber. Trust us, Joe says you'll leave motivated. Joe's Karting race packages range from providing simple stress relief races to the real deal race experience. Check us out at joeskarting.com. Remember, go to Joe's, your place to race.
Cubby's supports the PACE program with Raise Some Dough. For every large pizza sold at Cubby's in the Old Market, Cubby's gives $1 to the Police Athletic League, serving at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children with athletic and educational programs. PACE has over 5,800 program participants. The league reaches kids that would not normally be able to participate in athletics like soccer and baseball due to financial situations and family dynamics. PACE wants to give every kid the opportunity at athletics and a healthy and safe environment. If you'd like to support PACE too, go to paceomaha.org.
The big box stores have a secret. When you walk out the door with a new purchase, that's where the service ends. At Ty's Outdoor Power and Service, you get great deals on brands like Hustler, Toro, Honda, and Steel. Plus, you get a dedicated experienced service center. With annual maintenance and repairs, your equipment will last longer and perform when you need it most. See us in Lincoln, Omaha, or Gretna and get 10% off your residential service. Visit TysOutdoorPower.com, promo code radio, or mention radio to redeem.
Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard has something fun for all ages. New this year is Stefan's Country Drive. Antique cars where the kids are in the driver's seat. Plus, there's a new carousel. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is also opening a whole new part of the farm, the cider mill, with more than 50 other attractions included with admission. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is the place to be this fall. Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska. Now open through October 31st.
If you love food, love fun, love fall, you'll love Vallis Pumpkin Patch best of all.
Join Genesis Health Clubs for 36 cents for their 36th anniversary and get the rest of the year free.
For the early risers in Lincoln and Omaha, Saturday mornings, join a new congregation. The guys from the Church of the Corn are now live every Saturday morning on 1620 The Zone. Catch Zach, Drake, and yes, even Fitz. Saturday mornings from 8 to 10 a.m. right here on 1620 The Zone. Join the choir every Saturday and find out. The Church of the Corn is in session every Saturday morning, 8 to 10, right here on 1620 The Zone.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Mike Ferrin, Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, now singing the Mike Ferrin Open, it's Mike Stibbs.
Just make sure it sounds sexy, Stibbs.
Lord Almighty, how can you stand Arizona? Your fair skin must be burning down into your absent soul. Mike, 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 we can barely hear you. It sounds to me like you called us from inside a hole. But your phone calls lift me higher, like the ERA of Mark Pryor. Your hair looks like it's on fire. You're Mike Ferrin.
I stand corrected. Both New York teams do have doubleheaders today. Thank you, Mike Ferrin, for. I knew the
baseball.
Well, I knew the Mets had a doubleheader. I did not realize the Yankees had a doubleheader. So there's still another game tonight for Aaron Judge to get number 62.
Did you have a job interview today?
I did.
He's leaving me, man.
Well, I realize that my days are numbered here. You missed it just before you came into the green room. We decided in honor of ESPN doing the split screen for college football that every time Aaron Judge came to bat, Nick would do the play-by-play.
Oh, no.
You missed out. Ferrin, the first time he did it today, what did he say? He didn't throw the bat.
He didn't throw the bat.
Yeah, but why was that a concern?
Because he didn't do it.
He's not Mike Piazza.
The folks at home can't see it. I'm reassuring.
Yeah, it was.
Nick's commercial reads are horrifying enough. Do we really need him to cover sports?
Go baseball.
Well, we're giving him. We've got about 9 months until the next College World Series. We've got to get him up and ready to go.
Only 8 months away now, John.
Yeah.
Only 8 months.
Coming next year, Nick Grimm and Mike Ferrin on every game.
Oh, man.
It's going to be fun, Mike.
Well, I look forward to my portion of that.
I just hope that it works and you don't have to do it out of the tin can again like earlier this summer.
That was speakerphone on a cell phone. Thank you very much.
That was a speakerphone. Well, we welcome you in and we congratulate the Philadelphia Phillies back in the playoffs for the first time in over a decade.
Nobody cares about the Phillies. We want to congratulate the Mariners back in the playoffs in over 2 decades.
We'll get to them in a second, but this is the new Alec Boehm Memorial Cup.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
And Alec Boehm. Remember, this was the team that fired Joe Girardi, the first manager to get axed.
When was that? How long ago was that? Was that May?
May, or no, early June? Or was it late May?
It was May, I think. I think it was May. I can't remember. All the days run together.
They were 5 or 6 games under 500 when they fired him.
Now to the postseason.
But since the last time Philly made the playoffs, they've gone through 6 managers and 3 GMs.
Yeesh.
That's a lot.
What year was it the last time they made it?
11, right?
Yeah, 2011 was the last one, and that was the end of 5 straight division championships. That was a team that won 100 games, and then the Cardinals stunned in the division series with one of the great Game 5s, I think, one of the best decisive games that you'll see. Chris Carpenter against Roy Halladay. That was just a tremendous, tremendous game. But yeah, the Phillies back into the playoffs. Mariners snapping a 21-year drought. I mean, the longest playoff droughts are now at 8 years. And I think that we're going to start seeing those being shorter and shorter when you've got 40% of the league getting the playoffs. That I think you're going to start seeing, 8 to 10 might be the limit here going forward. So,
are you excited, Mike? For I know we've talked about it for a bigger playoffs. Like, are you excited for this? Because my co-host obviously is not excited about this at all.
I like the format better in the sense that the wild card round is a round and not just a game. I never liked that. I mean, as exciting as those games were, and they certainly were exciting, just when you're playing 162 games, and like if the Cardinals had beaten the Dodgers last year in the wild card game, I wouldn't have sat well with me. Not because the Cardinals weren't a good team. I thought they were a pretty solid team, but the Dodgers were like 13 games better than them. And just to have it, if it's a tiebreaker, that's one thing. If it's, where you have a massive difference potentially in the standings, and you should at least have to play a series. So from that standpoint, I like it a little bit better, but there's a lot of teams to make the playoffs now. It's 40% of the league is getting in, and it really is different. The more teams that you involve, the less it becomes about the regular season and the more it becomes about tournament performance. So, I kind of look at it as 2 different things. You have a regular season. Dodgers are going to be the regular season champion. You're going to have a tournament, and whoever wins the World Series will be the tournament champion. And it doesn't always line up that those are the same people.
Of course, on the other side of not making the playoffs, Milwaukee, and so many, it seems like so many opportunities. Sure, when you play 162 games, you can look back at probably 24 games that if it had gone either way, it's a different story. But Milwaukee seemed to have an inordinate amount late of golden opportunities that they squandered. The most recent one was last week. They're up 2-0 on the Marlins, 4 outs to go. Bases are clear. All of a sudden, bases loaded, grand slam. Milwaukee loses. They had a chance to tie Philly that night. This seems like a case of way too many missed opportunities for the Brewers, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think what's interesting about it is that,
listen, I thought they were going to be a little bit better offensive club than they were this year because I thought Christian Yelich was going to have a bounce back. And while he got on base at a decent clip, he didn't really hit for power. And I think that impacted their offensive performance. And not to put it all at his feet. I mean, Omar Narvaez had a rotten year behind the plate. And he's been a pretty credible offensive threat. Colton Long wasn't quite as good as he was last year. So there were a couple things offensively that happened. But really from about the beginning of July through now, their bullpen has been shaky, and that's not something that we've seen with these Brewer teams. They traded Josh Hader, and I know that got a lot of the attention in the aftermath of that, but the fact is that Hader wasn't pitching well leading up to that, and they added a number of arms in an effort to try and alleviate some of the issues that they were having, and it never got any better. So I heard some of Yelich's comments last night about how he felt like throughout the entire season, the team never really took on an identity, and he couldn't put a finger on why that happened. And I thought that was interesting, but I don't think that was because of the Hader trade. I think that was something that they battled with all year. But that was a disappointment to me. I thought that team was clearly the best on paper in the Central. I thought they were going to be a really, really formidable World Series caliber club. And they just didn't get there. And the Cardinals, in large part because they have a number of young position players that have, filled roles that they needed, have kind of moved by them and have set themselves up for long-term success, it looks like.
Mike, I follow one particular Yankees fan who decided to spend the majority of his evening on Sunday retweeting a lot of old stuff from like May and June about the upcoming, at the time, what they thought was the upcoming June swoon for the Mets and their eventual collapse, just having a field day. Are you surprised that after that all these predictions that it would happen, that it actually did happen, I guess, in this way versus the Braves?
Well, I don't think that the Mets really collapsed. That's the thing, is that they have the third or fourth best record in the sport over the course of the last 4 months. They just got outplayed by Atlanta, who, had the best record overall going into last night. I think they're still a half game better than the Dodgers in that. So I think what's remarkable is how well the Braves played. I mean, I ran this a couple weeks ago. I want to say maybe 3 weeks ago when the Braves had briefly moved past New York, that the Braves were playing at 116 win pace while the Mets were playing at like a 96 win. So it's difficult for me to call it a blown lead for the Mets because it's just Atlanta played out of their mind. And I think in most other years, if the Mets had played basically at the rate that they played the entire season, they would have won the division handily. So I think more than anything, you have to give credit to the Braves. That's a really good team. That's a team that's deeper than the one that won the World Series a year ago. And I think they're well positioned to potentially make a run. Now, that said, it's the tournament and anything can happen. It doesn't guarantee that they're going to get there, but it's a really, really good team. And that division has had two pretty complete squads this year. It's a little different than last year in the National League West, where it felt like every time the Giants needed to roll a 7, they did, and got the most out of their roster. The Mets are a more complete roster. They're a very, very good team. The Braves are an excellent team as well. And in the end, they're probably going to be separated by a single game or 2 games in the standings.
Mike, given what you just said about the Braves, I wanted to ask you this question because John posted yesterday. If you have the Astros and the Dodgers on one side, and then we give you the field on the other, which side are you taking to win the World Series?
I mean, I like a lot of teams in the field. I like Atlanta. I like Toronto. I like Seattle. It's going to be a shame that Toronto and Seattle are likely going to meet off in the wild card round. I like the Cardinals a little bit, but I think Houston's really good. And I think Houston has kind of been overlooked. I mean, they're going to win, they're at 104 wins right now. They're probably going to win 105 or 106 games this season. It'll be, 104, 105, or 106. There's only 3 options left for them, right? They've been to 5 straight league championship series. They've been to 3 of the last 5 World Series. I think their pitching is the strongest it's been in any of this run, and the offense is still plenty good. So I'm inclined to take Astros Dodgers because I think those are the best teams. But it would really be interesting if they got knocked out early, because I think the field has some talented squads and maybe a little bit more youthful energy and players that aren't maybe quite as familiar but are exciting to watch to a number of more casual fans. And that could bode really well for baseball, even though they don't have, these two juggernauts that would be there. But that said, I'm most likely going to be on the American League Series, and I'm just assuming I'm going to be in Houston because that's what we do at this time of year. I mean, that's been an incredible run. No team's ever gone to 5 straight LCSs, which means no team's gone to 6, and that's what the position they're going to be in.
Are you covering starting with the championship series?
Yeah, I'll be on the road starting for the championship series and then the World Series.
The Dodgers have a closer problem, true or false?
True, but they have a lot of options to be able to try and finish games. So, Craig Kimbrell's struggles are pretty real, and it's almost to the point that they have to consider not rostering him for a playoff series.
Wow.
If that happens, it would be shocking. We're also probably looking at a spot where the Yankees aren't going to roster Aroldis Chapman. I would think that that's probably likely at this point too, based on his lack of production this year.
What is this? The ex-Cub factor coming back to rear its ugly head?
I mean, it's like a disease. It just gets in their blood, and they can't do anything about it. Well, in the case of Chapman, it was actually an infection in his blood from getting a tattoo on his knee in the middle of the season. But that's neither here nor there. I think the Dodgers, their best reliever this year statistically has been Evan Phillips. They have a number of other options. Tommy Kahnle is one. Tony Gonsolin came back last night. He has experience pitching out of the bullpen. There's that possibility that he slides into a role like that. They could use someone like Andrew Heaney. I mean, they have a number of different arms that are there. They just don't have the same cachet that Kenley Jansen had for years, or even that Blake Trinan has had. And Trinan, isn't ruled out of the postseason, although it's unlikely he'd be available for the division series. So the Dodgers seem a little thinner pitching wise than you would expect a 110-win team to be going into the postseason. But one of the things that they're really good at is getting the most out of the personnel that they have on their roster. And, if anybody can mix and match, it's them and Dave Robertson getting them back to a World Series.
As Josh alluded to earlier, the Mariners did end their drought. If we were to do this on a danger scale, we'll use aquatic analogies here. How dangerous the Mariners are in this postseason. On the low end, you have Tom Hanks on his raft in Castaway.
Well said.
And on the other extreme, we have a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier. Where are the Mariners on the spectrum of danger on the
So wait, it's more dangerous to be on that raft, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, dangerous to it's more dangerous to other people in the ocean if they come across a battleship versus Tom Hanks.
You didn't want to go with Tom Hanks in Captain Phillips, like maybe that. I mean, trying to keep the
somewhere
analogy
in the middle,
together, right?
That was a big boat. Maybe it's the Orca in Jaws, I don't know.
I don't know. If the aircraft carriers are the Astros, then I'm not sure that the Mariners are quite that, but they might be. I don't know. What is it? The Destroyer? Was that the one in Battleship that had the two? Maybe it's the submarine.
Could it be Red October?
I think we're getting. It might be Das Boot.
So what, are they good or bad? What's going on here?
I don't know.
We're talking about old movies.
We're trying really hard to come up with good aquatic analogies.
John really dumped us into a poorly thought out and mixed metaphor to begin with, and there's not a whole.
How's that?
Yeah, I feel like we're drowning right now in this analogy.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a bad joke?
Here's just hoping it's not the Poseidon Adventure for them. I think that's probably the.
Who's the Loch Ness Monster in this scenario?
Okay, who's going to be the one in charge of playing while the Titanic sinks?
Actually, I like this Poseidon Adventure thing. Which Mariner is Shelley Winters? I think they're a dangerous team because they have 3 really good starting pitchers, and their lineup is better than what the overall season numbers show. Julio Rodriguez doesn't play in 10 days, comes back last night, has 3 hits. Jared Kelenic has been a great story for them over the last couple of weeks. I mean, that was a highly regarded prospect who had really struggled over his first nearly 500 plate appearances in the big leagues. And since coming back from the minors the last time, he has managed the strike zone significantly better. He's been hitting the ball hard. He could be a real weapon for them. I think they're a really intriguing team. I really am bummed that they're likely to face Toronto in the opening round. I almost would rather see the Mariners lose out and have them go to Cleveland, with the idea that maybe, just maybe, you could get not that this would be a guarantee it would happen, but get the Mariners and Jays through into a 7-game series against each other, because I think that would be really entertaining. And especially when you consider that there are a ton of Jays fans in the Pacific Northwest and into British Columbia, like, it makes for really special rivalry between the two.
Really? Is that strong Jays territory?
Huge. Yeah, because Rogers owns the team, and Rogers owns Sportsnet, which is the big, they basically own all of the telecommunications. And so, yeah, it's a huge Jays hotbed. The Mariners Jays games in Seattle are an event. Like, it's a tough ticket. It's pretty cool. So, like, I would love to see something like that happen. But that said, I think the Mariners are a very difficult out because they can pitch. They have a very good bullpen. And I do think there's enough offense there that they could that they can beat other teams with their offense. They're going to have a tough matchup either going into Toronto. That atmosphere is going to be crazy. Or if they did have to go to Cleveland, Cleveland's pitching is very, very good. Their bullpen is way underrated. But I think they're a dangerous team. They're closer to the aircraft carrier than they are floating around on a raft holding a volleyball.
Yelling Wilson. Is there a matchup in the NL in the wild card that you're most excited for? A potential matchup you're most excited for?
And compare it to spacecraft.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go into outer space.
Who's
the X-Wing?
Who's the X-Wing?
Well, let's see.
Who gets to be the escape pod?
I think the transport vessel is I think I think whoever matches up against the Cardinals, I think it's going to be really interesting, because both the Phillies and the Padres have very good right-handed starting pitching. And while the Cardinals are good against righties, they dominate lefties. Now the Padres are going to throw Blake Snell in that series, and I would guess that the Phillies, in a decisive game, if it got to one, would throw Ranger Suarez. That plays a little bit more into the Cardinals' hands, although Snell had success against them earlier this year. Sanchez he's kind of like the National League's version of Framber Valdez, extreme ground ball lefty, very, very good. Ranger Suarez, excuse me. So I think those are intriguing matchups as to how they square off, because I think that those teams have the pitching to give the Cardinals fits. But Cardinals play such clean defense. Their bullpen, another group that's really underrated. And, Arenado and Goldschmidt get a lot of the attention, and they should. I think if anything, Goldschmidt's start has overshadowed the amazing year that Arenado has. Kevin Franzen, the Nationals television analyst, is one of my colleagues at MLB Network Radio, pointed out that Arenado is going to finish with more extra base hits than strikeouts this year. It's going to be like 75 extra base hits to 71 strikeouts, right? So I think that, to me, is a really intriguing matchup. Whichever of those two teams that matches up against the Cardinals and how they deploy their righties against the heart of that lineup, I think that's a matchup that I'm really looking forward to.
Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio. If you want to learn more about some of the impacts of the new rules next year, I know it's kind of looking ahead because we still have playoffs to come, but I strongly recommend it. It's a couple of weeks old, but I just caught up with this. Jason Stark, who does just a great job for The Athletic, did a piece on all of the new rules and the impact that it will have on Major League Baseball next year, from the stolen base to times of games, balks, all kinds of stuff. I strongly recommend it if you're an Athletic subscriber.
What if you're an Athletic supporter, John?
If you're an Athletic supporter, don't wear it on your head.
Hear that, Josh?
That's like an A's hat?
You know what an Athletic supporter is?
Oh, one of those. I've never heard it described that way before. By the way, I was trying to... Why do you call it that, you weird? You guys are so old. By the way, Farron, I was looking up the postseason schedule because I was trying to figure out the next time we talk to you what will have been played. We'll be into the AL and NLDS. We have a quadruple header next Tuesday.
Yeah, that'll be game one of that.
I'll be gone. I'll still be in Chicago. Never mind. You can talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
Can you get somebody who knows anything about baseball on, John? Then we could have a real conversation about the
Robbie knows baseball, though. He's checked out because he's a Red Sox fan and they suck. So,
Well, that's all right. We'll just get a wood plank. He'll probably.
hey, talk to Nick over here.
Yeah, baseball expert Nick, bona fide play-by-play
at him.
announcer.
I hope. I was good. Never mind.
He threw the bat.
He did throw the
Oh, he didn't. Throw
Talk
the
about those Braves.
Real quick, Paul Christ, right? Like that's the guy.
Yep.
It's got to
for
be the guy.
Nebraska?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be the guy, right?
Oh my God! People
Like
are
this is
losing
a
their
slam
mind.
dunk. Like the guy won 70% of his games in Wisconsin, and like Wisconsin is where Nebraska wants to be, right? Like that to me is a no-brainer hire. Trev, there's your $15 million worth of free advice right there. Paul Christ, that's your guy.
Do you know Paul Christ had a record 1 game different from Bo Pelini?
Yeah, I did.
One game different.
Yeah. Paul Christ, man, the guy won. Get a guy who's a winner. Big Ten.
Also,
similar
Mike,
recruiting.
He is a friend of Mike Riley.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can bring Mike Riley in as the offensive coordinator. Now we're thinking. That's some Galaxy Brain stuff right there.
Way too many people are thinking too hard about this.
Paul Christ, that's it. There's your
All
guy.
right. Paul
Camp Chris, right here.
Mike Ferrin. We'll talk to you next week. We'll have baseball. I'm loving it.
Oh, man.
Friday we'll have games.
Yeah.
Thursday. Everything gets started Friday.
No, Friday.
Okay.
Thursday's a day off.
Thursday.
Friday, the wild card rounds start.
Awesome. Wow.
And then Saturday's elimination games. Like
Best
there's
month of the year, Mike.
It's going to be exciting.
We love the sports.
We love
Nick doing the play-by-play of the sports.
Go sports.
Indeed.
What a great Sprats talker he is.
Oh yeah.
See you, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Bye.
Mike Ferrin, everyone. Sirius XM MLB Radio.
Greg emails into the Equitable Bank inbox. The world needs historical calls from Nick Grimm. Can you imagine the Johnny Rogers return, the flea kicker? Heck, how about the Hindenburg disaster? This could be a new bit. Nick announces famous plays or just world events.
I cannot do the Hindenburg.
What happened
as well
when
as the
JFK was assassinated? Let's take you to Dallas and Nick Grimm on play-by-play. Describe it, Nick.
The tweet of the day.
Is that a hungover cup?
It's been
the tweet of the day, which has been deleted.
Sad.
But Josh has saved it.
I have it in posterity.
He has it in posterity.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't heard.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Page 6, New York, reporting that Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen have hired divorce attorneys. The NBC Sports Boston account tweeted about an hour ago.
No, this is old. This is 3 hours.
Oh, 3 hours ago.
Yeah. And they've deleted it since.
I'll just, it's of course, it includes a link to their online story.
Yeah.
It appears Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen are close to calling it quits after 13 years of marriage. More details, presented by at Nissan USA.
At what point do you think NBC Sports Boston heard from Nissan and said, hey, we don't want to be the presenting sponsor of this tweet?
Listen,
take us
we
off.
are the presenter of the Heisman House, not the Heisman House divided.
Yeah, we do not want to be involved in this tweet.
Yeah.
God, that is so funny. That is so funny. So funny.
They're
getting a divorce. Brought to you by Nissan.
Wish my parents' divorce was sponsored. Maybe
Yeah,
I could have gotten something
get a
cool
car.
out of it.
I didn't get a car out of mine. I would have loved a new Nissan. Give me a car.
I was too young for a Nissan. I would have taken like a video game, like
You would've taken a
Xbox.
little
Why didn't
Nissan
Xbox
car.
sponsor my parents' divorce?
Sad.
Well, I guess they need to do a better job of selling it. And we will continue with more of Unsportsmanlike Conduct in just a moment, right here on 1620 The Zone. John and Josh here for the FanDuel Sportsbook. You know, with football season underway and so many great options, now is the perfect time to download FanDuel. Just search FanDuel in your app store. Download that FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's America's #1 sportsbook. And because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet does not win. All you have to do is use our promo code 1620. And with the FanDuel Sportsbook, you get same-game parlays. You get paid winnings fast. And there's live betting. So You could be in the middle of a game, but you really like maybe a momentum that one team has going for it. You can put some money down on that team with their live betting and win even when you missed kickoff.
John, we talk so often about the NFL. There's a college game that I am looking ahead to. It's going to be played in the afternoon in lovely Pasadena, California. Utah, only a 4-point favorite on the road at UCLA. I love Utah in this matchup. Go check out that. Go check out all the other college football and pro football games that they have for you. And if you sign up today with our promo code 1620, you get that no sweat first bet, and you are a winner. They have so much. Check it out right now. FanDuel Sportsbook promo code 1620. 21 plus, present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable. Free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Your Omaha area forecast, presented by Bellevue Berry and Pumpkin Ranch, from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly cloudy through the evening with the temperatures in the 70s, then a 40% chance of showers later tonight and lows dropping back to near 54. Partly sunny Wednesday, a slight chance of a shower, high temperature near 74. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Looks like a crash has the right shoulder blocked on westbound L Street at 108th. Getting reports of stop-and-go traffic on 144th for north and southbound commuters between 370 and I-80. And then if you're headed north on the JFK, delays starting at Gilmore Ave going to L Street. If you're south on the JFK, delays starting at I-80 going to L Street. And slow movement for both directions on 275 between Center and 165th. I'm Mike Neville.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Methodist Health System.
When envisioning what kind of future is possible, the challenges never stop. And neither do we. Methodist, the meaning of care.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has been making your game day experience one to remember for 18 years with our award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. But now your game day just got bigger and better with Oscar's newly upgraded audio-video system. Cheer on your favorite teams this season in front of a 22-foot LED video wall, showing up to 8 games at once, and of course, 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Shingles add beauty, protection, and value to your home. You want CertainTeed shingles. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is a certified CertainTeed shingle master. When it comes to your roof, CertainTeed shingles and Carp's have you covered. Online at carpsomaha.com.
Your vehicle is important. It gets you where you need to go, but it does much more than that. I'm Darcy with Dingman's Collision Center, and at Dingman's, we know your vehicle is an investment and that safety is your priority. To make sure your vehicle is as safe as it was prior to an accident, bring it to Dingman's for proper, safe, and certified repairs. We protect you and your investment. We've been voted Best of Omaha for the past 17 years. At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Find us at dingmans.com.
Creighton Sports Update.
Creighton men's basketball tips off the highly anticipated 2022-2023 season next month. Don't miss any of the action with season tickets. Limited seats remain, so act fast and guarantee your seat for every game at CHI Health Center Omaha before it's too late. Get your tickets online at gocreighton.com/MBB tickets.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Everyone deserves to be connected. That's why Cox has high-speed internet to fit any budget. Stream, chat, and connect at an incredible price. You're probably thinking, wait, what? But yeah, it's true. Learn more at cox.com/ACP. Non-transferable, one per household. Application and eligibility decisions are made by the FCC. Other restrictions apply.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me,
John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620thezone.
Val's Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard has something fun for all ages. New this year is Stefan's Country Drive. Antique cars where the kids are in the driver's seat. Plus, there's a new carousel. Val's Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is also opening a whole new part of the farm, the cider mill, with more than 50 other attractions included with admission. Val's Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is the place to be this fall. Val's Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska. Now open through October 31st.
If you love food, love fun, love fall, you'll love Alice Pumpkin Patch best of all.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees.
John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
I don't need a vibe, I need bacon.
Vibe won't fill my stomach.
It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Coming up, we'll go into the college football hot take market.
Couple of responses about the Brady news. Mustache Adam says, this divorce brought to you by Microsoft. Our tablets aren't the only thing being broken in Brady's life.
Hey-o.
Ha. Shang Ping Appreciation Club says, got to think Nissan stepped in and saved that marriage. Maybe that's what happened. They said, hey, get our name out your mouth. It's fixed. Everything's okay. It is crazy that what everyone theorized was happening in the summer is actually what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that it seems like there was, because they went out of the country, they went on a vacation, because from some of the reports, he had promised them, like, hey, in August this year, we're going to go on vacation because I won't be at training camp. So I guess he followed through, you know, on that, and now here they are. And John, like, this is kind of the sad part for, like, as I see it, and look, this is his life. He made his bed, he can sleep in it, but all of this for a team that I don't think they're like, this ain't it, you know? This ain't the team. It's crazy.
I'm not listen,
quote unquote throwing away his marriage.
Everyone knows I've never been a huge Brady fan. I do respect what he's done. Not a huge Brady fan, but he's been doing this for over 20 years.
Yeah, why are we surprised? Yeah.
His legacy is secure. There's no changing that. I get the competitive drive. I wonder if there's something in Brady that fears what he'll become without active football competition.
John, he retired and he retired in what, 6 weeks?
Right. There are some people, like, you know, after they retire, you know, the famous words of Bear Bryant.
How fast did he die? Within months?
He died within months of retiring.
Heck, the end
and listen, Bear Bryant probably knew he had a, you know, guy was a lifelong smoker, and
yeah.
You know, Brady's kept himself in amazing shape.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something hardwired in there, and who knows? Maybe it's that thing that is hardwired in him that makes him do or prioritizes coming back for a 23rd season over his marriage that has made him what he became.
It explains him. It helps explain how he got to this point.
It does, but, you know, he's
going to have many more years. Hopefully, he's going to have many more years without football than he had with football. Right? Like, that's what you hope for.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's 45. He's probably been playing for about 40 years now. I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's going to have more years with football in his life than he'll have without it.
But listen, Tom Brady can try to convince himself anything he wants. Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I've long worried about, is the retirement will be brought on to him and he won't get to choose. You know, for some people, you don't get to choose. You get your, you know what, knocked out.
And the thing about him, too, is, like, look, it's been pretty obvious watching them this year in the first 4 games that something is amiss with him and with the team. And we've at various points chalked it up to, like, well, it's not a healthy group. The offensive line is in shambles, and he's going through some stuff. But more than ever, that has shown itself on the field. Like, you know, we just read the tweet from Adam about the tablet, and like, he joked about it and he said he needs to not do that, but it is very, very obvious to those of us watching that something is going on with him, because it's showing on the field. Like, he's always been a fiery guy. He's always gotten after his teammates.
It's not the first tablet.
He's gotten after coaches before. Him and Bill O'Brien, you know, him and Josh McDaniels, like him and Bill Belichick. They've all yelled at each other, but watching them this year is really the first time I've ever watched him and thought, man, he just is not having a good time. He's not having a good time. And you wonder if, because he is a human, you wonder if this is just all crashed down on him at once. And he's feeling it. It's showing on his face, and you just wonder, like, the one thing that I'll give him credit for in all this is he knows that this has been a story, and he has acknowledged, like, look, I'm a celebrity, this kind of comes with it, but it can't be easy. Obviously it can't be easy. Collinsworth was talking about it on the broadcast on Sunday, how much older he is than all these players too. And that's just got to be another, like,
he's playing with guys who weren't born yet when he started playing pro football.
The usual solace even in the locker room. What do you hear from so many athletes when they retire? Hey, what do you miss about playing? Is it the games? Is it the fake? No, they miss the camaraderie. I bet he doesn't even have that anymore, and who knows the last time he really had true camaraderie with guys with the large portion of the roster, but yeah, just, kind of stinks. It's just like sad. I don't think this is fun.
It is sad. Les Hills Harley Davidson hotline 402-951-1620 is where we find Bradley. Good afternoon, Bradley.
How you doing, Bradley?
I'm good, Bradley.
Okay. I was thinking about Tom Brady. Maybe he doesn't want to be at home all the time with his wife and kids. He might be hiding on the football field because eventually he has to be a daddy and a husband.
It could be, but it's
it's a stress. Hey, you're married.
Yeah.
You have kids, so it could be stressful. It's easy to turn into a bottle, like you want to turn up a bottle and or take extra hours. Sometimes you don't want to hear somebody nagging, nag. Or your kids running around, daddy, why? You know what I mean? He probably, and then you have to look at his dynamics, where he came from. His dad was a football coach, and he probably was gone all the time.
That said, his kids are what? His youngest is 8.
Yeah,
9.
yeah, sounds about right.
But I get your point. And by the way, sorry, Rodney. Nick typed Bradley.
It was my own fault. I'm sorry, I misheard. That's on me.
Nick is still he's stinging from the fact that he didn't get to call Aaron Judge's 60-second home run.
I really wanted it.
No, I could have said something when he called me Bradley, but I just ran with it.
Rodney, we appreciate
Rodney.
it. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's true, maybe, but man, that is a quick realization because he wasn't retired, but a couple of months.
It was 6 weeks, I believe. 6 weeks. But look,
I just think it's not so much not wanting to be around family.
I think he
it's
felt like
not wanting to be on the field of competition.
He felt like he had left something on the field when Manning retired. And you know what's nuts is Peyton Manning retired 7 years ago. His last season was 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He retired. It was obvious to everybody that he was past his.
He was done.
He was past his post prime, and nobody wanted him anymore. I have to imagine in the days and the weeks that follow Brady's retirement that, people probably said to him, man, I'm kind of surprised that now he had the most passing yards he'd ever had in a season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the most touchdowns, but he was up there. So imagine leaving that Rams game like, oh man, if one thing goes this way, we're in the NFC Championship game and maybe we're going to the Super Bowl. I have to imagine that was his thought process. And instead of saying this is a good time to leave because I am going off at my own choosing and at the top of my game, he said, now maybe one more chance. Plus, look, what was his goal? 45. He'd been saying 45 for, I think, a decade, at least that we knew about it. He's playing when he's 45. That really mattered to him. It seemed it was strange when he retired. It was strange because the news came out and remember there was the tweet from Team Brady and then that got deleted. And when he announced that he was retiring, he never actually used the word retiring. It was obvious that he didn't want to do it. I think it was a promise that he had to his family, and then he reneged on the promise. I think that's what it was.
Coming up, we're going to go into the college football hot take market. Dave Matthews is bringing their fall 2022 tour to the CHI Center on Saturday, November 12th. Head over to 1620thezone.com for your chance to win your way in and check out all the details at 1620thezone.com. And you know what I just realized?
What is that?
we were supposed to do a qualifier. Well, we're going to do one right now.
Right now.
For 1620 The Zone's 4-quarter pick'em. This is your chance to pick 4 games against the spread, college or pro, as long as they're on the FanDuel Sportsbook.
Promo code 1620.
And if you win all 4 against the spread, you win $1,620. But the first thing you have to do is get qualified.
How do you qualify?
By calling 402-951-1620. In honor of Tom Brady, we'll take caller 12.
I thought you were going to say 23 because of the seasons, or 45 because of how old he is. 12?
12.
Caller 12 it is.
Caller 12 right now, and we can get you qualified for your shot to play 1620 The Zone's 4-quarter pick'em right here on 1620 The Zone.
Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Genesis Health Clubs is celebrating its 36th anniversary, and you're invited. Join for just 36 cents and get the rest of the year for free. This offer has been extended for a limited time. Hi, I'm Rodney Stephen, owner of Genesis Health Clubs, thanking you for the last 36 years. Without you, we wouldn't be here, and we're here for your results. We're here to help you feel better, look better, and have more energy, and be able to enjoy all life has to offer by improving your health. Celebrate Genesis Health Club's 36th anniversary by joining today for just 36 cents and get the rest of the year for free. Offer extended. That's 36 years of results, 36 years of better mood, concentration, and focus, 36 years of crushed goals, 36 years of mental and physical strength, 36 years of members achieving their absolute best, and now it's your turn. So get fit, have fun, and celebrate 36 years with us. Join Genesis Health Clubs for just 36 cents and the rest of the year for free. This offer has been extended for a limited time. Find your fitness home at genesishealthclubs.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Sharp on behalf of my friends at Tickets for Less. As you probably heard by now, Tickets for Less is my go-to source whenever I need Husker tickets. But I want you to know that Tickets for Less has a lot more to offer. Did you know they have the largest selection of tickets to events both locally and nationwide? Plus, the thing I like the most, they never charge you outrageous per ticket service fees on your order. That's why I always use Tickets for Less. Whether I want to go to Arrowhead and see the Chiefs play, attend a concert or a show, ticketsforless.com is my first stop. See for yourself at ticketsforless.com.
The hot weather is over and fall begins at 42 degrees. And do we have the deals for you? Let's start with a large selection of pipes starting at $9.99. Looking for a quality vaporizer? We have a large selection from $24.99. Shopping for Kratom CBD candles, e-juice in bottles and disposables. Delta products up to 50% off with multiple locations, the friendliest, most knowledgeable and professional staff. Why shop anywhere else? 42 degrees, the source. By your mom's house.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Sure, the weather is nice and mild now, but before too long, it's going to be cold, windy, with tons of snow and ice. Is your roof ready? The time to make it ready is now. That's why Complete Industries uses quality products like Scotchgard protected Atlas Pristine shingles. Sturdy, durable, and reliable. So when the storm hits, you'll be more than ready. Complete Industries also works with your insurance. Get a free inspection and estimate on roofs, gutters, siding too.
Visit CompleteIndustries.com or call 402-935-0554.
Suicide can be prevented by knowing the warning signs. And most importantly, knowing what to do if you recognize those signs in yourself, a loved one, or even a stranger. There are simple ways you can be there for someone, so they can be here for more tomorrows. Visit moretomorrowsne.org to learn the signs, how to approach the conversation, and where to get help. Or call 988 for help now. That's moretomorrowsne.org.
If COVID taught us anything, it's that local matters. Local shops, local restaurants, even locally brewed beers. October is Drink Local Month. So the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild is challenging beer, seltzer, and cider drinkers like you to put your palate through its paces and drink local brews. Because seriously, Nebraska is really on the cutting edge when it comes to brewers who think outside the box. And besides, you really want to be drinking what they drink over in Iowa? Didn't think so. Click drinklocalnebraska.com.
Sunday morning is all about church, eggs, and the Sunday paper. But right next to church, it's made for hot takes and reactions. Severe Reactions. Michael Severe is back on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction. Sundays 8 to 10 and doesn't hold back on what went right and what went wrong on Saturday. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction, Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Only on 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. 1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
By the way, the Mets up 3-0 in the first of their doubleheader against Washington.
The Mets are up 3-0 in their doubleheader against Washington.
I just said that.
Yeah, but you didn't have it with the flair,
John. If the Mets were to sweep
and
the Braves were to get swept, and the Braves already lost one game last night to the Marlins, the Mets could still win the NL East. But that's another thing altogether. The music must mean one thing. It's time to go to the market. It's the college football hot take market. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, John.
You're always so fired up for this segment. Let's let you start.
All right. Hot take that I believe no Power 5 program will make it out of conference championship weekend undefeated. No undefeated teams by the end of the year. Right now, there are 16 total teams that are undefeated, but a couple of those are group of 5 teams. Otherwise, we have 14 Power 5 teams. But think back to the conversation we had coming into the year, especially the last month. Ohio State, oh my gosh, they're going to be great this year. Alabama, they're going to coast to a title. Even Georgia could go undefeated into Atlanta. All 3 of those teams have flaws, and they've shown those flaws so far. The teams behind them, they obviously have flaws. Michigan could lose to Penn State. Penn State seems like they could lose to anybody. Missouri had Georgia on the ropes. Texas almost beat Alabama. No one's perfect. We've had a couple teams on that edge of losing so far. So I think we're going to get through this whole thing and nary an undefeated team. No 15-0 team this year.
I will take your hot take and go one better. Oh. You were shopping for chuck roast. I'm going for the Angus beef.
Okay.
The playoff committee will have no choice but to pick a 2-loss team for the college football playoff.
You added a little spice to my hot take.
Bama and Georgia are going to lose at least once before they even meet each other. Bama still has to play at Tennessee and at Ole Miss. There's an upset brewing in one of those. Georgia still has to play Florida, Tennessee, and they're at Mississippi State and Kentucky.
Don't forget about Auburn this weekend.
With the superior coach named Brian in the SEC.
Nice.
So, I mean, I think there's a good chance that those teams could each have 2 losses. I think Ohio State, maybe another loss to Penn State. They always have problems in Happy Valley. Michigan could lose to Penn State. Heck, Michigan could lose to Brett Bielema and Illinois. The Big 12, well, they're devouring it themselves, so the likelihood of a 2-loss champion is pretty high there. Pac-12, you got USC, Utah, UCLA. And does anyone really believe in Clemson? The bottom line is this. I think there will be enough losses sprinkled about that the committee will have no choice but to pick a 2-loss team. That is my hot take today. Keep in mind, my hot take last week was that Minnesota would go undefeated in Indianapolis. So take it with a grain of salt.
I like that one. A hot take I could be talked into. More coaches are on the hot seat than we think. If Wisconsin was willing to part with Paul Chryst for as much money as they just did the first weekend in October, I think everything has to be on the table. It's so funny, too, because we're like not that far removed from saying Nebraska would probably be the best job available, especially for a certain type of coach, i.e. someone that didn't want to go to Auburn. But I don't think I believe that anymore. Why couldn't Iowa open? Why couldn't Texas A&M open with those psychopaths down there in College Station? Why will these schools just stand pat when they're, easily able to afford firing coaches so soon? It's not that long ago, John, when coaches started getting fired after 4 years, and that felt relevatory. And now it's 3, sometimes 2 seasons.
And now it's in the middle of a season.
For Paul Chryst, 5 Power 5 jobs are open already. There was a quote that I read in a story earlier today. This was from a Matt Hayes piece on SaturdayTradition.com. A Big Ten coach told him, shocked. Are you kidding me? If Wisconsin does that to Paul, what can the rest of us expect? I agree with that, Coach. This thing ain't over, and there are going to be coaches that will be fired that we didn't see coming.
Well, once again, we're shopping in the same aisle. The hot take I can be talked into. We're going to hear a story about someone in College Station starting the effort to raise the $95 million necessary to buy out Jimbo Fisher. That's right, folks. If Jimbo Fisher were to be fired without cause after this season, he would be owed more than $95 million. Now, again, it's a hot take I can be talked into. But really, would it surprise anybody if we heard rumblings that, oh, yeah, here's big oil baron, J.R. Ewing, proud graduate 1947 of Texas A&M.
I want to see my Aggies win another national championship before I die.
Well, that guy would probably be 100 years old.
I need to get it over here. Just go ahead and just pay him $100 million and get it done with.
Now, I'm not saying he will be fired, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's some angry, impatient Texas oil barons just waiting to find the next coach because Jimbo was not the prince that was promised.
I like it.
And there you go.
I kind of want him to be on the hot seat just because it'd be so bonkers.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be so bonkers. Somebody reached out to me earlier this season and said, like, what if Urban went there? Like, what? Can you imagine, though? Mark says there's
plenty of crazy out there, folks.
Mark says, my hot take is that Nebraska rattles off 6 more Big Ten wins and wins the West. Now, that's a hot take.
Speaking of coaches, right now, the update in Not Frost versus the World, Dave Clawson, 58.5% of the vote over Jamie Chadwell. You have
Thank God it's at least kind of close.
You have a little less than an hour to vote in the latest round of Not Frost versus the World. The winner of this matchup draws the unenviable assignment of trying to defeat Lance Leipold.
Oh, that ain't happening.
In the up-and-comers regional. Tomorrow's matchup in Not Frost versus the World, the never-boring, the highly sought-after Dave Doran of North Carolina State takes on, well, I mean, he should be eliminated because he's already lost. I mean, he lost last weekend. Kalen DeBoer. That's tomorrow's matchup.
He's great.
In Not Fraud. Yeah, so great. He lost to Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly, all-time coach.
2012 called and said, I want my loss back.
Jordan says, wow, John, no love for the Mickey upset over Michigan. Yeah, what about Nebraska beating Michigan, you jerk?
Yeah, John.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not?
It's a winnable game.
Nah. Travis says you can bet that the Aggie alum that you were talking about a few minutes ago will tell you their classier when introducing themselves. And they'll show you the ring.
Here's my ring here. I've been wearing it so long, it's worn out. Now it just looks like worn metal.
Chris in Montana. So the next time the prices of gas spikes, we can blame it on the buyout of Jimbo. Yeah, we need new stickers. I did that.
Yep. Jimbo Fisher.
I did that.
I did that.
A text from this is Mike in Columbus, Ohio.
Uh-oh.
Any chance the Huskers go to the big house and upset the Wolverines?
Possibly.
Now that would be, here's the thing, man. Nebraska hasn't really had one of those playoff shaping victories in a while or upsets in a while. You know, they beat Michigan State in 2015, but Michigan State still made it to the CFP. But they haven't had one of those. You know, like all these programs have gotten their moment in the sun where they push a team, and suddenly everyone's like, oh my gosh, you got to get to that game on Fox or ESPN. Nebraska's involved. How cool would it be if they were involved in one of those? Michigan would be the one because they ain't playing anybody else that's going to be in the playoff mix. That's the one team.
That is true.
KD says Angus is a type of cow, not a cut of meat. Angus cows would have a chuck roast. This is why John's takes are dumb. Anything for KD you'd like to say?
Hey, KD, you know how long it's been since Frisco won a Super Bowl? 28 years. Suck it.
I'm 25.
Nick's 25.
I meant to say Angus steak, of course. Just a nice Angus ribeye while Josh is having chuck roast.
Bummer.
Yeah,
Don't you love chuck roast? What's the bad thing that you like on
Pot
Sunday.
roast. Pot roast is delicious.
Oh, garbage. You overcook it. It's not medium rare.
No, it is not overcooked.
It's not medium rare.
It's
I want my
it's
steak
not
medium
supposed
rare.
to be medium
I want
rare.
all of my steak medium rare.
Okay, but it's not
all of
steak. It's a roast.
But it's a part of a cow. I don't want it.
Haven't you ever had?
Yes, and I don't like it.
You don't want medium rare
You've never
ground
had a barbecue beef sandwich?
It's fine. It's just I don't want it. Give me. I'd rather have.
You're so weird.
I'd rather have a steak. I want a steak.
Okay,
Why is it so bad that I want a
you'd
steak?
probably rather have fried
Sorry,
chicken, but
thought this was America.
maybe the only thing you had was the popcorn chicken in the fridge.
I eat the
You
popcorn
can't
chicken.
always exactly.
Yeah, but I don't
sometimes
want
sometimes you got to have beef, but you can't have the steak.
I don't want the cut roast or the chuck roast or whatever kind of roast you got for me. I don't want it.
Out on roast and potatoes and some carrots.
I love, oh yeah, the mushy carrots. Give me raw carrots, man.
See, again, he's
I'm what? Very cool.
He's scared.
Normal.
He's scared,
Not scared.
to try.
I'm never scared. I've had it.
I think it's a fear.
I've had it many
I
times.
think you have a phobia.
You know what it was? It was. I'd be like, "Hey, Mom, Dad, what are we having after church?" And it was always that. I don't want no chuck roast again. Give me a bag of Doritos. I don't want chuck
Wait, you're
roast.
having like a main meal right after church?
They put it in the what are the things called? Crock pot. Yeah, they cook it all morning long, and go to.
So
church.
you're having a big meal right after church?
I mean, get home. My parents were passed. What do you mean? Like
Well, that's like noon, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock? Is that not?
That,
normal?
you could have that for
No.
lunch.
Well,
that
you
could be a lunch
can,
thing.
but usually that's something you have for supper.
I wanted to
Maybe-
supper's
maybe
not
in
a
your
thing. It's called
household.
dinner, you weirdo.
Supper
it can
is
be
a
both.
thing.
No, it's called dinner.
See, what's really confusing, my grandma used to call lunch dinner sometimes, and that would throw me
Yeah,
off.
I know. Western Nebraskans, get out of here with that garbage.
My grandma's from
Get
Iowa.
out of here with Western Nebraska of Iowa. Get out of here with that garbage.
Western Iowa.
The happy hour is coming up next, right here. Oh, and I am just told we have another qualifier for 4-quarter pick'em.
Next hour.
Next hour.
Next hour.
Not right now.
Next hour.
Next hour.
So stay tuned.
So stay tuned to 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, a crash has the right shoulder blocked on westbound L Street at 108th, causing delays through there. Got a stall on northbound 120th at Pacific, also causing slow going. And then if you're north on the JFK, delays from Gilmore Ave going to L Street. If you're south on the JFK, delays from I-80 going to L Street. Stop-and-go traffic on 144th for both directions between 370 and I-80. And then stop-and-go traffic on 275 for both directions between Center and 165th. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Introducing the Universal Monsters $5 scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery with a $50,000 top prize featuring Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and the Mummy. Top prize odds 1 in 96,000.
Join Genesis Health Clubs for 36 cents for their 36th anniversary and get the rest of the year free. Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry. You can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style. And they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We are rapidly growing and adding new customers, which means we need new route drivers and service technicians. We have new jobs for those new to the industry with little or no experience, and new careers that require knowledge in the coffee and vending world. There's a good chance we have just what you need in a new job. Host Coffee offers competitive pay and understands the work-life balance. Apply today at hostcoffee.net/careers and join our team.
We are Lus Hills Harley-Davidson, and we buy bikes. Fall is a great time to sell your bike. Use the money for the Christmas fund, maybe a vacation, whatever you want. Lus Hills Harley-Davidson will buy your bike. Click LusHillsHD.com for all the details and catch on to the fun fall stuff coming up. Lus Hills Harley-Davidson, I-29 and Highway 34, south of Council Bluffs. Your home in the hills. Rise up and ride on.
Start your engines.
Joe's Indoor Karting in Council Bluffs is off the charts crazy. Joe's Karting is fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing action at over 40 miles per hour. The only speed restriction on these karts is how good you are. Joe's Karting is located just a couple of blocks north of Bass Pro Shop and directly east of AMC Theater in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Go watch a movie. Come race at Joe's. Planning a bachelor party, graduation party, or just a night out with friends? Go to Joe's. Remember, Joe's Karting is your place to race.
This is Darcy with Dingman's Collision Center. We have run our business for years by helping the vehicle owner retain the value of their vehicle by working for them with warranted, safe, high-standard repairs. For this reason, Omaha vehicle owners have chosen Dingman's to repair their vehicles. Your loyalty has been shown through repeat business and amazing referrals. You've also voted us first place Best of Omaha for the past 17 years. We want to say thank you for choosing the Dingman family and our incredible technicians to repair your vehicles. At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
It'd be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
From your mom.
The happy hour is on the air. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, we don't do this when his crap Cowboys lose. We're not. Listen, we'll be fine.
It's because the Rams are your Super Bowl champions.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
For a few more months.
That not happen after whatever day it is.
I mean, I'm sorry, John.
Jeez. You're in
gonna-
timeout.
You're going to listen to him?
You're not winning the Super Bowl. It's okay to admit it. Nick, you're not allowed to make
You
fun of
don't
any
know
NFL
this
team.
yet.
Your team.
No, my
We're
team's
not
very
dead.
problematic.
Yeah. Very problematic.
Was it his team?
Yes.
Or is it the NFL?
All parties involved.
All parties involved.
Did you see the thing the other day? I guess how much of the Sunday night game did you watch?
Oh, actually, not that much.
Okay, so at one point, I'm trying to remember.
By the time I turned it on, it was a blowout.
Trying to remember what player it was. So let me go back into my Rolodex here real quick. So in that game, here it is. Yeah, Cameron Brate. That's right. So tight end for the Bucks. He crossing route got hit. Boom, and left the game. And a few plays later, he returned. And at halftime, they placed him in concussion protocol. So it was obvious that he had a concussion on that one hit. And it's like, I haven't seen, that many tweets about this or that many stories about it. The one that I saw was from Florio. And it's just crazy that of all the weeks for something like that to happen, where a guy is suffering a concussion on a play, it's the week of hell for, the NFL and Miami Dolphins, yada, yada, yada.
Well, we'll get into some Husker-related stuff coming up in just a minute, but I did want to share this story because this one is wild. Most of you probably haven't even heard of UTPB, but it's University of Texas.
Peanut butter.
No, it's not.
You're not going to be wanting to make
University
jokes, Nick, after what we say about this place.
Oh, no.
Well, maybe. I mean, there is some. It's bizarre. University of Texas Permian Basin, which is located
Not
down
peanut
in
butter.
Odessa, Texas. They have a women's soccer coach.
Had a women's soccer. Well, I guess she's still there.
Technically,
yeah,
she's just been put on paid administrative leave, according to allegations from an anonymous group of players ranging from, well, pretty much everything from illegal conduct to NCAA infractions to inappropriate behavior.
Now, that doesn't really cover everything that happened because we've seen these
it
stories
does.
before.
It does, even from a broad sense, but
if
the specifics.
If you see like a coach was abusive to the players, sadly, we've seen that story many, many times.
Yes, we have.
Don't know if I've ever seen anything like what we're about to go over.
Among the many allegations from the letter, she was arrested back on September 11th and asked for players to help pay her bail.
For a DWI.
And some did.
And some did. Nick, just wait. It gets worse.
There's also allegations that this coach, who's, by the way, her name is Carla Tejas. I think it's her first year.
Yes,
she was a very successful small college coach and then moved up to UTPB. He's alleged to have had physical interactions with members of the men's soccer team, including PDAs, public displays of affection. She is accused of distributing alcohol to minors. In terms of NCAA infractions,
this one's pretty funny.
Players allege that Tejas re-entered a game that she was ejected from in disguise and continued coaching via walkie-talkie. She Bobby Valentine. She Bobby Valentine her own appearance.
Now, didn't Valentine have like a fake mustache?
Yeah.
Is that what she did?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Or she just have like a wig ready?
Yeah, suddenly she has the Karen haircut.
Well, judging by her DWI, maybe she re-entered the game sober, and that was enough of a disguise.
How old is this woman?
I'll look it up while John keeps reading the other things.
She looks like she might be in her early 40s. I'm guessing. I really don't know.
We never guess a woman's age,
Well,
John.
we can guess hers because she's
problematic.
Yeah, 40 sounds about right.
Let's see.
Her bio doesn't say how old she is.
Shocking. Yeah. The letter also says they believe that a starter on the team is ineligible. The starter in question arrived on September 14th from Uruguay and had not attended in-person classes and had also not been assigned a dorm. But she's played every minute of every game this season. As for program culture, Tejas allegedly encourages fouling and injuring opponents, enforces a strict diet that has caused body dysmorphia, eating disorders, and anxiety among some team members, and uses emotionally abusive tactics like silent treatment, isolation, and more. The letter says that one player suffered a stroke, and Tejas did not reach out to the player until days later. The player was also suspended the same week of her illness and is now seeking mental health counseling.
His coach is incredible.
What a bad person.
The anonymous group also alleges that Tejas encourages cheating on classwork and schedules team events at late notice, leaving players to struggle to complete schoolwork and create a study schedule. They say that Tejas expects soccer to come before academics.
How about this one? Her license is suspended right now because of the DWI. She's asked players for rides, especially after she has drank, and many do for fear of retaliation, verbally or on the field. And this was all in a thread from Kaylor Smith, who is a sports director at KMID.
Yikes!
Yikes indeed! Yikes indeed!
So, coach of the week goes to UTPB women's soccer coach Carla Tejas.
Husker fan in Dallas says in UTPB's defense, their online bachelor program is pretty good. That's how I got my bachelor's.
Oh, I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to, reflect poorly on the school.
No,
they are investigating. I'm guessing that she won't be the coach at UTPB.
No, I'm guessing these are her last few hours as a coach. You want to talk about just a range of allegations.
Yes.
Because again, we've seen these stories a million times. And so when I clicked on this thread, legal conduct, NCAA inappropriate behavior, I'm like, okay, I kind of know what I'm expecting. No. Also buying booze for the players, but also treating them like garbage. So it's interesting. You wonder if she's playing the fun coached at times and then not fun coached at other times.
Sounds a lot like an actual abusive relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's exactly what it is, but same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep.
Yeah. Not good.
Yep.
Not good, Bob.
No.
Question.
Answer?
We have 5 games in. Nebraska's 2-3. What do we know about this team? And we know, they've gone through a lot of changes. But are there things that we can say we firmly know about this team other than the obvious? They wear red at home. They have an N on the side.
I got something for you.
Well, what do we know?
I think that you have the skill positions on offense: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and throw a tight end in there too. But at least the first 3. I think they have a bona fide, very good player at all 3. Bona fide, very good player. I think Casey Thompson is very good. I think that Anthony Grant is very good. I think that Trey Palmer is very good. I think that is something that, look, I'm guessing that consistently, statistically, they will not be able to have great games every time out because the offensive line is what the offensive line is.
Mm-hmm.
But Nebraska right now is on pace to have they've played 5 games?
This is
5
game
games
6 coming up, yes.
Anthony Grant is on pace right now to rush for 1,440 yards. Best running back season since Amir Abdullah in 2014. Trey Palmer is, do some quick math real fast. That times that. Trey Palmer is on pace for 1,152 yards. He would be only the second wide receiver ever at Nebraska to have more than 1,000 yards in a season. And right now, Casey Thompson is on pace for, I don't know, well over 2,000, probably close to 3,000 yards.
Yeah.
So right now, I'd say that they have good players for sure at those 3 spots. They can throw the ball, they can run the ball if they get help, and they can certainly catch the ball. I think that they hit on those 3. When we talk so much in the summer about how do they, how do they succeed? One of the things that we mentioned a lot was the transfer portal. And we said they're probably going to have like a dozen guys hit. Look, that's not happening, but 3 guys have, and they're all on offense. So that's where I begin. I feel confident with those 3 guys.
Well, I would agree. In kind of a weird way, they're like a poor man's triplets, right?
Yeah.
Obviously with far less winning.
Yeah.
But Thompson right now is 25th in the country in yards per attempt passing.
Nice.
8.8. Sure, the 7-4 touchdown to interception ratio isn't great.
Yeah, you'd like more.
But, he's completing 65% of his passes, which right now, that is 45th in the country.
Yeah.
So, again, pretty respectable.
you'd
Top
like
25 in yards per attempt. You like to see that.
Yeah, so if he could get a little bit more efficient, whether it's with the touchdown to INT ratio, really just, John, more touchdowns. He has 7 in 5 games. Like, you need a few more from him there.
As far as Grant is concerned, and I know that the number took a hit because he only averaged about 4 yards a carry. So he doesn't show up, Grant does, in yards per carry. But in terms of yards per game, Anthony Grant averaging 120 yards a game. He's 8th in the country. So that's obviously very respectable.
Yeah, overall in the country, he's, like you said, he's 8th. And then you look at total rushing yards, he's 6th in the country with 600 yards, only 5 guys in front of him, and a few are within 40 yards of him.
And Trey Palmer right now is 18th in the country in receiving yards per game.
Yeah, man. So,
at 96.
Yeah. Like, that's where I begin.
So I think, I would agree. I think you have a poor man's triplets.
Yeah. Now, I agree with Troy. What do we know? O-line is the weak link that will ruin the season.
Yes, they are deeply flawed on the offensive line. And listen, you can play as hard as you want, but that's going to be an undoing against much better disciplined and much better equipped defenses in this conference than the Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah.
And it could start this weekend with Rutgers. We've heard a lot about how Rutgers is very physical, a tough team. And it could be a lot tougher sledding offensively this week with a team like Rutgers. I would say this, and I think we can gauge this by what we saw in the aftermath of Saturday. This is a team that loves their coach and will play hard for him. You could not say that before.
Yeah.
Some of them may have liked Scott Frost. Some of them may have loved Scott Frost.
His name is Garrett Nelson.
But even with a guy like Garrett Nelson, I openly said on this show, I do wonder where Garrett Nelson's head is going to be. That was before the Oklahoma game. For as much as he, emoted about Frost in the offseason and, talked about how much not calling plays hurt him and how he hurt for him. But Garrett Nelson, front and center, I think he just wants to go out and play ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he, like everyone else, appreciates the directness, the openness of a Mickey Joseph, and for that matter, the entire team. I think this is a team that loves their coach.
Well, I like how,
and they'll play hard for him.
Yeah, Red, I like how he put it on Twitter. We know this team responds to coaching.
Yeah.
We do. I guess here, another thing we know, they still have some fight in them. Like, if they were going to roll over, and not to say that still can't happen, because it still might, but they really could have rolled over against Indiana. This would have been the chance to.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, look, they played way better than Indiana the entire game. The reason that it was only 14 points was penalties, mistakes. They shot themselves in the foot, but the defense played well enough for them to win that game by certainly more than 14 points. They went in the fourth quarter tied. In the past, they go to the fourth quarter tied. It's not going to go over very well. And they closed. They closed. They got a victory. It's not a quote-unquote close victory, but they closed. And they won, in my opinion, a close game, even though they ended up winning by 2 scores.
I'm going to replay something we had earlier when we heard from Mark Whipple, but I thought this was rather revealing because Whipple was asked, why is it that you believe in this potential, in the potential of this team, maybe more so than the players do? And here's what Whipple had to say.
I don't know if they really think we can win every game.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I don't think they believe we can win every game.
I don't know if they really think we can win every game.
Man, what a quote.
I don't, so we're good enough, I think. Okay. I'm not a genius, but we can win 7 games. We can win these games. All right. We already threw away 3 of them. Oklahoma kicked our rear, but I said, that's the expectation is like, hey, not just to go to a bowl game. We can win the West. That's what it is. So you're in first place. Act like it and play like it.
Look, I don't want to pretend like this is a great team, but when you hear him say that, like I do understand where he's coming from. Of they threw away. Now they didn't throw away 3 games. They threw away 2. But
and he acknowledged.
Oklahoma kicked our rear. But John, they did throw away 2 games.
Yes, they did.
Again, I every time I say something like this, I preface it with not trying to crap on Frost. But if they have a coach who has them prepared better, there's no reason that they couldn't have beat Northwestern. There's no reason that they couldn't have beat Georgia Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they're not a great team. I don't even think they're a good team.
Yeah.
But they are a team that should be better than their record is. And I think that we could all say that with better coaching in the front end of this season, they are a team that has a better record than 2 and 3. Now you can't change anything. They can't go back in time. Northwestern is Northwestern. Georgia Southern is Georgia Southern. But with the way the division looks right now, there's no reason that they shouldn't be able to play in these games. If they get the thing though, man, they have to get some stuff cleaned up. And it goes beyond just the offensive line is bad or getting a line better on defense. They can't have as many penalties as they had. They can't do that. They can't be that penalized.
No, it was like I said, bowling shoe ugly on Saturday night. And that was one of the things that frustrated Whipple when we played some of the quotes earlier. How does a team go from 0 penalties in game 1 and now you're getting 12 penalties in a game?
Yeah.
Part of that does have to do with the officiating and how the game's called.
Yeah, and the crew in particular that you're working with.
And the crew that you're working with. But, there was a level of lack of discipline that was rather alarming.
Yeah.
And could end up costing a team who's going to play in a lot of closer games. Why is the West winnable? Mark Whipple?
It's competitive. I don't know if it's quality, but it's competitive.
Gosh, that's so funny.
I'm glad he said it because it's damn true.
It's not a good division.
No, it's not a good division.
And that's fine. we've been crapping on the Big Ten West a lot over the last few years. Some of the years I wanted to be like, hey, it's not as bad as like you're making it out to be. This year, it's actually worse.
Oh yeah,
This year it's worse.
It's really stinky.
Brian says the strangest thing about Frost is that they never gave up on him, but also didn't seem like they bought in. Just a weird middle ground.
It is a weird middle ground.
That's a good way to describe it.
Well, and I'm trying to remember where I read it. He was here very recently. But I think what explains it is when you have leadership that is willing to make excuses. And Frost did that so often. Make excuses. You can have people bought in on their leadership because they like him, but they also, quote unquote, give up easier. And why do they give up easier? Because it's easier to give up when you have excuses already built in.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this game's not going our way because XYZ. Because the players reflect their leadership.
Well, yeah, think about how Mickey responded to the question about penalties on Saturday. I need to do better. I need to coach them better. That's a much better response than, well, yeah, this didn't go our way. Even if the latter is true.
Sure.
I'd rather, because like one of the things that annoyed me to no end after the Cowboys lost to the Niners in the playoffs last year was that all they did was bitch about penalties the whole time after the game. Players and coaches. It's like, no, you guys have been like this all year. And so to have some ownership, even if you don't totally believe it, because look, sometimes the refs are going to get it right, but sometimes they're going to get it wrong. But when you take ownership, it's that idea of control what you can control. You can't control the refs. You're not going to be able to.
No, you're not.
You can be as crisp and clean as possible.
And that's why with the Corcoran penalty, you know they're going to be watching you on the next play, especially. Don't put yourself in a position where you could get that second unsportsmanlike conduct. And he did.
Yeah. The next play.
The very next play. Whether you think, well, he was just finishing his block. But don't put yourself in that spot.
Jim says when this is going back to what do we know about this team that maybe they're not going to collapse. When Chubba got sacked and fumbled, I thought there was a chance they would collapse like a house of cards. To their credit, they didn't. Seriously, that of all the moments, Saturday I thought had a few of them. That one especially. I mean, that's just a typical, here we go again. But at the end of the first half, they're up 2 scores. And then suddenly it's tied. And it's like, wow. They kind of gave away.
That was more alarming than the sack fumble.
Yeah, because it's like, this is one of those chances or one of those moments where it's like, well, we all know what's coming up next. And to their credit, it didn't.
No.
It didn't happen.
And by the way, they managed to hold Indiana scoreless in the third quarter, even when they should have had a lot of momentum before they finally got the fourth quarter going and won the game.
Yeah.
So, they only held the Hoosiers to 14 offensive points and none in the second half.
What would you say we don't know? Do we know? Let me
everything else.
Do we know how good or bad the defense is? Like, do we feel because they just had a solid performance? Hell, they had a really good performance. 14 points. I went through some of the stats.
We
earlier.
Really don't, because again, Indiana's a bad offensive football team.
But let me flip it then.
Especially without their top 2 receivers.
Or do we know about the defense because of Georgia Southern, Northwestern, and Oklahoma and North Dakota?
See, that's why I say
that's 4 games versus 1.
But that's why I say we don't know because
of the changes.
Because of the changes they made, as we had the audio from Bill Bush earlier. Half the battle was just getting lined up properly.
Lined up.
Which they did this past week.
Yeah.
And if they can continue to do that, then you're at least eliminating that part of the mistake equation. Because that part of the mistake equation usually leads to people overcompensating and busted plays.
Yeah.
Well, if you're at least lined up properly, then you've eliminated the amount of potentially fatal mistakes down to either effort or, some kind of blown assignment. But a lot of times, big plays happen against you because you're not aligned properly. And if Nebraska at least eliminates that half of the equation, then the rest of it, sometimes you just get beat by a better team.
Sure.
Or a better play call.
They're going to have some of those teams on their schedule this year. They can get lined up as well as they won against Michigan, and it ain't going to matter.
Yeah.
Joel says the back-to-back interceptions at the beginning of the third was another spot when I got worried it was going to go south. Yeah, think about that. They get the turnover. plus territory, close to the red zone. They go for the kill shot, which John loves. Aggressive play calling like that, even after a long review process,
which was
and they turn it over on the next play. And again, yeah, that would usually be their undoing.
But it wasn't.
Drake says, in regards to the Corcoran ejection, if it was intentional, I don't even care. It's the first time in a long time I can remember someone going after someone in defense of a teammate or quarterback. I don't think it was intentional, but if it was, I can live with it. Yeah, I don't think it was an intentional either. Have you rewatched that play yet?
No, I haven't. But again, I don't have a problem with the first personal foul if you're in there defending your quarterback. But then I'm on a tight leash. Yeah, I better watch my P's and Q's.
It's like in the first technical in a basketball game.
Exactly.
Like, okay, we'll give you that.
Exactly.
But don't do it again. Don't do it again.
Friends, 1620 The Zone's four-quarter pick'em is back.
Folks,
listen for your cue to call 3 times a day to be qualified to make picks in the upcoming college or NFL slate. This week's qualifier will be picking next Thursday on the morning show. And if you can pick 4 games against the spread correctly, you win $1,620.
And you get to pick the games. We don't tell you what to pick. You get to pick any 4 games in college or pro football.
That's right.
That is available on the FanDuel Sportsbook promo code 1620.
And right now, you have a chance to be qualified. Yes, we have a bonus qualification here today on this program.
Awesome.
In honor of the $16 million that Nebraska had to pay Scott Frost, we'll take caller 16 right now.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 16 million.
I was going to be here the rest of the night.
Yeah, well, forever, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, you're now never allowed to leave, Nick.
No, just caller 16.
Caller 16 right now.
Caller 16, 402-951-1620 on 1620 The Zone.
Irrational confidence.
I've said this all along. You're going to be able to convince me that a lot of these things that could end up happening are going to work. I don't think it's... Now, this is probably it doesn't give enough credit to the people who do it. I just don't think it's that hard.
Wow. Not that hard, huh?
That they haven't been doing.
He's got those 47 games.
Damn it, I told you to not take offense to this. Just do the fundamental things, and then we'll see where this lands.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast, presented by Bellevue Berry and Pumpkin Ranch, from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly cloudy through the evening with the temperatures in the 70s, then a 40% chance of showers later tonight and lows dropping back to near 54. Partly sunny Wednesday, a slight chance of a shower, high temperature near 74. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time Saving Traffic Center, heads up a crash with injuries on southbound 27th at Q Street is causing delays. Looks like if you're headed west on I-80, you're going to see delays starting at about 42nd, going all the way to 60th. If you're east on I-80, delays starting at the L Street exit going to 84th, and then delays on the northbound JFK from Gilmore Ave to L Street, delays on the southbound JFK from I-80 to L Street, and slow going on 275 between Center and 165th for both directions. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Scary Acres.
It's time for the gates to open. Scary Acres is back. Omaha's ultimate haunted attractions. Scary Acres now open. 172nd and Giles. Sponsored in part by Stereo West, Raising Cane's, and Heidi.
The hot weather is over and fall begins at 42 degrees. And do we have the deals for you? Let's start with the large selection of pipes starting at $9.99. Looking for a quality vaporizer? We have a large selection from $24.99. Shop for Kratom, CBDs, candles, e-juice in bottles and disposables. Delta products up to 50% off. With multiple locations, the friendliest, most knowledgeable and professional staff. Why shop anywhere else? 42 degrees, the source by your mom's house.
Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Genesis Health Clubs is celebrating its 36th anniversary, and you're invited. Join for just 36 cents and get the rest of the year for free. This offer has been extended for a limited time. Hi, I'm Rodney Stephen, owner of Genesis Health Clubs, thanking you for the last 36 years. Without you, we wouldn't be here, and we're here for your results. We're here to help you feel better, look better, and have more energy, and be able to enjoy all life has to offer by improving your health. Celebrate Genesis Health Club's 36th anniversary by joining today for just 36 cents and get the rest of the year for free. Offer extended. That's 36 years of results, 36 years of better mood, concentration, and focus, 36 years of crushed goals, 36 years of mental and physical strength, 36 years of members achieving their absolute best, and now it's your turn. So get fit, have fun, and celebrate 36 years with us. Join Genesis Health Clubs for just 36 cents and the rest of the year for free. This offer has been extended for a limited time. Find your fitness home at genesishealthclubs.com.
Get a full breakdown of what went right and what went wrong immediately after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Join the show immediately after the game and sound off with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Red Overreaction on 101.9 The Keg and 1620 The Zone. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
We don't need to smell each other.
The 1620 The Zone.
We got our qualifier. Be listening tomorrow. Once per show for your chance to qualify in 1620 The Zone's 4-quarter pick'em. Can't wait to get our first picks and see if we can find us a winner. I saw this today reading more about the Wisconsin situation. It seems apparent now, judging by the reporting, that this is truly a tryout for Jim Leonhard.
Yes.
That the reason why this move was made when it was to try everything possible to keep Jim Leonhard in the fold. And you mentioned the Matt Hayes the article earlier. And here's part of what he wrote. Wisconsin AD Chris McIntosh will mostly look for Jim Leonhard to settle the team down and get it to play good, clean football. Let's be clear. Leonhard's the clear-cut favorite to land the HC job. He probably won't have to win many games to have the interim tag removed. Maybe 2 or 3 is all he needs. Based on what I'm hearing, they don't even want to attach a win to it. This was actually from Steve Sipple.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Sipple who wrote this. And he kind of said this yesterday.
Yep.
Here on the show, that Alvarez didn't have a lot to do with it. But I was reading from Matt Hayes as well that, you know, this was to keep Leonhard in the fold because he was courted recently by the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, they wanted him this past offseason to be their defensive coordinator.
Right. And Wisconsin upped the ante. And
they added, what, $500,000 to his salary?
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they made some promises, too.
That you were next in line?
Mm-hmm.
If things go sideways, you're our guy.
Exactly.
I just, we asked this question yesterday, and I'm going to ask it again today, and I'll ask it a lot, I imagine, until he gets the job, if he gets the job.
You're going to ask tomorrow?
I might ask it tomorrow. Is he worth this? Like, is he that dude? Because, look, they're making a gamble from a couple perspectives. One is that what he has done on defense beyond the last 2 games is going to continue, and that how he coaches defense is how he can coach the program. But that's the thing. That's the other part of this means he can build a program. He can be the culture dude. He can be a recruiter. And from all reports, it sounds like he was a solid recruiter or has been a solid recruiter.
Yeah.
But that he can, dare I say, grow into the role and become what they're hoping for as the Wisconsin leader. It's just, look, I thought that when he got the defensive coordinator job, it was rushed. And he obviously in the program proved me wrong on that when Paul Chryst hired him. So maybe this is going to be more of the same. But I don't know. It's just a gamble because it's one thing to be a defensive coordinator, and it's another to be a head coach. And it's another entirely to go from DC to head coach of a program like this. Like, this is not Kansas. This is not Vanderbilt.
Well,
this is Wisconsin.
This is the interesting part. Is Wisconsin is essentially selling its soul, or what has been perceived as its soul, of being this very stable organization for a guy who had not had any head coaching experience, and a guy who, and I know we've got him in not Frost versus the world, but you wonder what kind of jobs, had Paul Chryst stayed, and they rode this thing out, and the offseason comes, and Jim Leonard is on some coaching boards, just what kind of coaching boards would he be on? I don't think we're talking about Power 5 head coaching jobs here. I don't. Are any of the current jobs right now that are available? Do you think Jim Leonard would have been a top 3 candidate in any of them?
Yeah, I know. We've seen him on the usual Nebraska lists, but he's always like a far down.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
he's far
strike
down
out
the
on
list.
a million
Yeah,
candidates.
far down on the list.
He'd be interesting.
So my point is this: would it have hurt? Would it have hurt a little bit to keep Chris, keep doing the Wisconsin thing, and if Leonard gets hired by a group of 5 school,
or even a low-level Power 5, a lesser
I
Power 5.
I don't think I don't see him being on any Power 5 boards. Not certainly not of the teams that are available. And even if you project out of what other Power 5 jobs may come
Like,
open.
what about this one? What if Braum goes to Louisville? You don't think Purdue would have kicked the tires on a Jim Leonard?
Possibly, but even if they did, if you believe this much in Leonard and you believe that Leonard believes this much in you, wouldn't he fall under the when mama comes calling?
Yeah.
So when they do have to make a move on
then he'd come
Paul
back home.
Chryst, he could come back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, again,
it's a little weird, but
it's an odd situation. It's an odd situation because in a way, John, it's like they're bidding against themselves, and they're not. Like, they got him now, and if he's their head coach, good on them. But you know what I think? I think maybe some of it is, and you kind of alluded to it a second ago. Like, I wonder if there's just this fear factor of him getting away and then never coming home. Which, like, man, are you really gonna worry about 10 years from now this guy becoming like this bona fide great head coach? And look, maybe they're gambling, and we're the ones who are wrong because he is this guy. No one's a sure thing, but
No.
I think this is really in the bucket of not a sure thing.
To risk losing your soul, because this is what Wisconsin has been about. And we've always looked at Wisconsin and Iowa, steady Eddie, just while the rest of the world is, swimming in turbulent waters, we're over here just kind of waiting and we're just riding the waves. We're going to be fine. But Wisconsin has thrown all that caution to the wind. And who knows? Maybe he'll end up panning out, but
it's just a risk.
Yeah.
It's a risk because Leonard has never been a head coach before, and he's still barely even been a coach. His first year, I think, was either 15 or 16, and he was just like an assistant. He was like a volunteer, a grad assistant, and then he was the defensive coordinator within like a year or two.
Yeah,
and I mean, props to him for rising this fast.
Los Hills Harley Davidson hotline 402-951-1620. Here is Scott. Thanks, Scott, for calling. You're on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
You bet. Good afternoon.
Hey.
Hey, Josh. I just wanted to wish you the best run with your dad. I invited you both over to watch a Husker game. You said you're going to run the race, so I hope you guys do great.
Oh, thanks,
Pray
Scott.
for your safety and health. Yeah. So, guys, I think this whole Wisconsin thing is really fascinating. I love what you were talking about. So let me ask you this to kind of challenge you with this and just get your response. Isn't Wisconsin kind of treating him like a home run hire? Because if part of your decision to get rid of Chryst, which it appears that you didn't want to lose Leonard, aren't you treating him like a home run hire? Because
absolutely you are.
Obviously you don't. So is it? But that's kind of contrarian to you guys saying he's not really on anybody's home run list. So I just find it fascinating that they're kind of treating him that way if people don't consider him that type of hire. So appreciate your feedback.
Thanks, Scott.
That's the thing about it, Scott, is, this is the classic, hey, he's one of us. And you see it a lot in college athletics, the loyalty factor, and you see, oh, this guy's perfect. This guy's, he's a Wisconsin guy. He played here. He gets it. And listen, I'm not downgrading his credentials. He has had success there as a defensive coordinator. He's been a good recruiter. But you wouldn't have got this or at least it's less likely you would have gotten this if Jim Leonhard had just been a 40-year-old defensive coordinator whose alma mater was Arkansas.
Yeah.
There is that, we like to make fun of the Royals over in Kansas City, but we also like to make fun of the Royals across the pond for the whole, the legacy, the family lineage. But the American equivalent to that is the college nepotism that exists in coach hirings. Well, Michigan's got to have a Michigan guy, and Nebraska's got to have a Nebraska guy. And it happens everywhere. It's not just a Midwest thing. It happens everywhere.
Yeah, Kobe and Brian ask a similar question. I'll read Kobe's tweet. He says, if they really want Leonhard, then why not name him permanent head coach? Not fair to him to grade him on 7 games with the coaching staff he didn't build in a roster he didn't recruit.
And maybe it's just a mere formality as what has been speculated.
That's everything I've read the last 48 hours says that this is a formality and that it's done. And as long as he doesn't really crap the bed, and I don't know what that looks like. What's the line of 4-3?
But if they keep playing like they have been and getting beat by double digits.
What if the scenario, who was the first slide we showed yesterday? Yours? What if your scenario happens?
Where they go 1-8?
Yeah. That's the guy. That's the guy. Like my scenario, if they go, I think I had him going like 5-4.
See, that's the other reason why this is a chancy maneuver, because it's possible. It's not a good football team right now. And you might think, hey, this is our future, but then you roll him out here
with Graham Mertz as his QB still,
and you don't see much improvement. I mean, with Nebraska, at least you're seeing some improvement. I'm gonna guess, I could be wrong, but I'm gonna guess that the philosophical, the mental change of leadership
for Leonhard,
from Christ to Leonhard,
will not be as big,
will not be as pronounced as the philosophical or emotional change from Frost to Joseph.
At least not in season. The one because long term or after this year, he can.
Unless I'm totally reading Wisconsin wrong, and there are folks going, man, this guy, I can't trust this guy. But I saw tweets on top of tweets from current Wisconsin players lauding how much they really appreciated Paul Chris.
Yeah,
so it's not like.
And we didn't see that from Nebraska players after Frost.
No, it was radio silence.
And here's the thing, and especially with the benefit of hindsight, we've learned a lot. Disorganized it was. Maybe that is going to come out too. That the Paul Chryst era was not as organized as we thought. But I find that hard to believe.
I find it hard to believe because they've had success.
Yeah, I picked it yesterday. I think they're going to be fine this year. I think they'll still make a bowl game. But if your scenario's right and they go 1-8, they're going to find themselves in quite the pickle. Because what do you do in that spot? And I guess maybe you go outside and hire somebody. And look, maybe you have a nice fallback, and that's Lance Leipold. But it's odd. It seems like there's more to this. It's very strange.
All right, coming up, we have some unsportsmanlike content. But first, my friends at McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning want to remind you that it is very important, gas furnace owners, that you need to have a safety inspection every year before winter. Why? Because of carbon monoxide. It's odorless. You cannot detect it without a carbon monoxide detector. And unfortunately, some people have found out far too late that their furnace was not operating safely. But if you join the Comfort Club at McCarthy's, you get a twice annual inspection of your furnace and your AC, plus discounts on repairs, other priority service, and the monthly fee that you pay will never change. It will never go up during the lifetime of your membership. So join the McCarthy's Comfort Club today and get peace of mind knowing that your furnace is going to work and it's going to keep your family safe this winter. Contact McCarthy's, McCarthy's1hour.com. Always on time or you don't pay a dime at McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air.
After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Sevilla returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Sevilla Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Sunday morning is all about church, eggs, and the Sunday paper. But right next to church, it's made for hot takes and reactions. Severe Reactions. Michael Severe is back on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction. Sundays 8 to 10 and doesn't hold back on what went right and what went wrong on Saturday. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Only on 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
There are actually two kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world at a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. So what do you say? Which cigar will you be enjoying tonight? Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily?
Lead management?
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right. Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
Val's Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard has something fun for all ages. New this year is Stefan's Country Drive. Antique cars where the kids are in the driver's seat. Plus, there's a new carousel. Val's Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is also opening a whole new part of the farm, the cider mill, with more than 50 other attractions included with admission. Val's Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard is the place to be this fall. Val's Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard, Gretna, Nebraska. Now open through October 31st.
If you love food, love fun, love fall, you'll love Alice Pumpkin Patch best of all.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We continue to grow and add new customers. Many employers are looking for new ideas for their staff as people return to the office. Our pantry service is a great office amenity for staff and guests. Fresh food, snacks, coffee, water, and other beverages for employees and guests. Enhance your office experience with pantry service from Host Coffee. Learn more at hostcoffee.net.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Look, I made you some
Unsportsmanlike
content.
Unsportsmanlike content. Unsportsmanlike content. Content that's unsportsmanlike.
By the way, Dave Clausen has advanced to the next round of Not Frost versus the World. 58.7% of the vote, defeating Jamie Chadwell. Man, Joe
Slow
Moglia.
mesh, baby.
Joe Moglia.
Taking L's.
Yeah.
He's still a billionaire. He'll be fine.
I know, but
Think
you
of the
know,
poor billionaire.
as many times as people during the Bo Pelini, oh man, that Bo Pelini, he did. Joe Moglia, working with him.
In hindsight, you wish they would have hired him instead of Mike Riley just to see what would have happened.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, me too. That would have been so fun. And
But
weird.
apparently, Joe Moglia's endorsement of Jamie Chadwell did not coax enough vote. So he moves on to take on Lance Leipold. Tomorrow's matchup
is Dave Dorn versus Kalen DeBoer. It's the 4-5 matchup.
Let's go, Kalen. Come on, baby.
Okay, we're not supposed to be rooting here. We're neutral third-party observers.
Says who?
I really don't have a good feel for who's going to win this.
Probably stupid Dave Dorn.
Well, yeah, if you want a good coach.
Hell no. Hell no.
All right.
What's next?
Time for some content.
Speaking of football,
nice.
This was Rodney Harrison on NBC Sunday Night Football the other night. CTE takes you to a dark place, and I want these players to know it's not worth it. Please take care of yourself. Don't depend on the NFL. Don't depend on anybody. As the league continues to investigate and perhaps more people will get hurt, will anything come from this sport's latest battle with head? I'm not going to read that.
I just
pun.
realized how
I'm not going to do that.
Ooh, that was rough.
Good catch.
Anyway, will anything happen?
I think there's going to be more people that will probably be dismissed. But it's weird. Even though this story has been big, it hasn't thwarted the momentum of the sport. You know, people are still watching in record numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like once the ball is kicked off, forgot about that. It's kind of odd to me. I get it. It's a big deal. It's important. But I don't know if we're going to see any major changes.
Well, think about it, John. I told the story earlier about Cameron Brate, and I was guilty of this too. He leaves the game. He comes back in. We eventually find out he had a concussion. So he's playing with a concussion on Sunday. That happens 7 days after the first, what we think was a concussion for Tua.
Mm-hmm.
It happened, 3 days after the second one, or at minimum the first, with the horrible reaction in his fingers and that visual. And yet, nary a person, for the most part, talking about it yesterday. And I was guilty of it too. I'm guessing that rules will change. I'm guessing that things will happen. I'm guessing that there will be supposed people held accountable or fired. But I don't really know if, the sport will still have its viewers.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going away.
The Yankees. The Yankees. Luis Severino was not pleased that Severino was not pleased that he was taken out of a no-hitter after 7 innings. The 94 pitches he threw was his most since June 24th. Whose side are you on? Manager Aaron Boone or Severino?
Look, man, I'm on the player side in this one, but this is what baseball is. It's funny. I can't even argue because this is what they always do. They always take out players. 94 pitches. That's not even that many pitches.
Now,
John.
I acknowledge it's the first time he's had this many pitches in 3 months. But come on, he's throwing a no-hitter. A guy can get hurt on the first pitch of a game. If we're going to treat everyone like they're in bubble wrap, then why do we even bother playing? At some point, don't you have to let a guy go out and try to make some history? And Severino was not happy. I mean, he's kept shaking his head, wouldn't make eye contact with Boone in the dugout.
Sad.
While Boone is trying to explain to him, it's like, you know what?
Sad.
Sometimes you just got to let it roll, baby.
Yeah.
You got to let it roll.
Let it roll.
Bill Connolly ranked the 16 remaining college football undefeated teams. While he uses SP+, you can use your own system. Which of Bill's unbeaten teams are too high and which are too low?
Now he's going straight by the SP+, which doesn't have the violent reactions of the quote-unquote eye test. But right now, I mean, Clemson's too high. He's got them 5th.
So who do you think's better than them? That are behind the.
I think Tennessee's better than Clemson.
Whoa,
I think Ole Miss is better than Clemson. I like Oklahoma State better than Clemson right now.
Too high for me. Penn State. I don't think that they're better than USC. I don't know if they're better than TCU. That's only a couple of teams, but I don't know, man. I'm worried that Penn State's going to have a healthy drop-off.
Is USC too low at number 10?
They're very volatile, and he laid out some good reasons why they're undefeated at this point, but maybe why they could fall off, and that is their defense gives up buttloads of yards, but they have a ton of turnovers. And I just don't think that the turnovers are going to be able to continue to happen. They're not going to be able to take away games or teams at this rate. They have Utah in a couple of weeks. They're going to lose that game, in my opinion. But I do like USC, but it's tough. I just don't know if that defense can keep having all these takeaways.
Good news, everyone. The NCAA is serious about enforcing NIL violations. Kinda. It's been 18 months since NIL became a real thing, and the organization is now hiring an enforcement position to investigate potential NIL infractions. Which will come first? Actual penalties for NIL, or the NCAA throws their hands up and allows athletes to be paid?
The latter. The latter.
I mean, the cynical side of me says the latter. But, someone will get dinged for a mild to, low-level NIL infraction.
Yeah.
Just so they can say, hey, we did something. I don't think anyone's going to get hit with a major NIL penalty, but I think at some point, someone will get dinged just to show that they're doing something. But at some point, athletes are going to be paid, and then this whole thing's going to be for naught.
Yeah, you're probably right, but it's just going to be like a slap on the wrist type situation more than an actual penalty.
Andy Staples wrote a column this week that theorizes Oklahoma's recent pains and losses are necessary for SEC standard. Do you agree?
I think it's a solid thought exercise, dare I say.
Given,
when Nebraska entered the Big Ten, they entered sky high. They were in a tremendous spot. And we were like, oh, hey, everything's going to be okay. They went in with a little bit, maybe too much bravado and confidence, and they had to adjust to the league. If Oklahoma's defense is struggling in this conference right now, what's going to happen? I mean, this is TCU. TCU doesn't recruit at the level of an Alabama or an LSU or a Georgia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think that this is the worst idea. Did you know, and I didn't realize it until this week, did you know that Oklahoma's defensive coordinator was an analyst for Clemson last year? He brought with him a defensive analyst and made him a full-time DC. You know
how much of that though is Venables still wanting to be the defensive coordinator, a la Bo Pelini?
And you know what? You know what Alabama doesn't do? Hire analysts as defensive coordinator. Well, they
hire former defensive coordinators as analysts.
You know what they do? They hire former head coaches as analysts.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it can, but I think it comes back to actually more of that type of stuff. Venables realizing like I need to be better and I need to put a better staff around me.
This is going to be a fascinating watch the rest of the way for Oklahoma because they have looked very poor on defense the last 2 weeks. And there's other teams out there. Oklahoma State's not going to take it light on them. The Kansas matchup looks rather interesting too.
Absolutely.
Given how Kansas is a little bit different in their offense than a lot of other teams are. There could be some big time shootouts. This could be old school Big 12 football the rest of the way for the Sooners.
Oh boy.
4 weeks into the NFL season, and every single team in the NFC West is very mid at 2-2 apiece. Who the hell is winning that division? The mid-ass division.
Yeah, I mean Seattle's not great.
No,
the Cardinals are not great.
It's a disappointing loss for the Lions. Losing
the Rams
to Seattle
aren't great, and I mean, I picked Frisco at the beginning of the season, so I'll stick with my pick.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's gonna be San Fran. I think the Rams will be second, Cards third, Seahawks fourth.
Just need to get OBJ back, baby. OBJ.
Yeah, the Niners. I mean, they're just such a loaded team. And last night, when you get big plays by other players, Jimmy Diaz doesn't really have to do a whole lot. Sorry, John. I apologize.
I hate that we make him look like he's passable.
Yeah. Like he's Troy Aikman, incredible and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, look at all those bad NFC East teams that made Aikman look good for all those years.
Dude, the NFC East was on. That was really the NFC beast.
Oh, it was not. That was in the 80s.
The Eagles were okay.
It's the nicest thing I've ever heard you say about the Eagles.
They were okay, Nick. Dallas still whooped their asses in the playoffs, though. Hope they do this year, too.
With but a couple days left in the regular season, Aaron Judge still sits at 61 home runs. Has his home run chase become anticlimactic?
It's become kind of sad. This is so the first time that they were doing cut-ins was 2 Saturdays ago, and that was to tie the record. He could have tied the record, remember, on the Friday night game when it was on Apple.
Yep.
That was, John, I mean, that was mid to late September when that was happening, and it's now October 4th. I still think he's going to hit it. I think, but he has, 2 days left now? He has tonight and tomorrow. And that's it. He has 2 games.
Yeah.
Man, awkward.
It is awkward.
Yikes.
He's had a great season. He could win the Triple Crown. He's going to be the MVP. His team's going to go to the playoffs. But if he doesn't get to 62, will it be a disappointment?
Yes. It will be. Because he would have sat at, I don't know the date. I can go look back. When did he get to 60? That would be a lot of games with only one home run. I mean, at the end of the year, Albert Pujols was more, he was better at hitting home runs than Aaron Judge was.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'd say so. Just given how long he would have sat at 60. Because he had that week where it was like, remember he got to like 56 or 57 in the same day. He was mashing. And I was wondering, like, wow, is he going to get into Barry Bonds territory? Or at least Mark McGwire?
Nope.
That ain't happening.
Nope.
Your ex-president, and still your ex-president, by the way, is suing CNN for $475 million for defamation over the use of the term "the big lie" in describing how Donald Trump is claiming the 2020 election was stolen. If he somehow wins, what would you like to see him do with that money?
Give it to charity.
Oh,
How
she's
about
nice.
charity?
Well, okay,
Ha!
let's be real about this. You know that's not happening. I'd like to see him.
Maybe he'd finally
I'd like
be a
to see him-
billionaire.
I'd like to see him buy the Trump barn and turn it into a sports book and casino.
Wait, that is more realistic than charity?
You really want him
from
to have
Donald
another
Trump?
casino?
I mean, hey, if we got a sports book in Nebraska.
Yeah, but you
Can
saw
you
how it worked in
imagine the
Atlantic
Trump
City.
barn sports book and casino?
On the way to Lincoln.
Think about it. Think of all those cars that head down for game day, and how
It-
many would stop
it'd
at the
keep-
Trump barn sports book and
keep-
casino.
Keep a lot of money in the state.
There could be a petting zoo there too.
A petting zoo.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
'cause
pet the
it's-
farm animals while you wait in line to place your bets.
Nice. I just want people to know I held back a joke just now that would have been very funny, but I held it back because we stick to sports on this show.
Until we don't stick to
Until we
sports.
don't stick to sports, indeed.
The bet of the day is next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Dust. It's in the living room, the bedroom, and the bathroom. It's also in your lungs. Let's fix that, shall we? Duck Defense Midwest offers a comprehensive system that cleans, disinfects, filters, and purifies the air. They'll make your home healthier and improve the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com right now for a special air duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. cleanairradio.com.
Bill Jones.
And Olivia.
Here for Jones Bros Cupcakes. Have you tried our new chimney cones yet, Olivia?
They are so yummy.
Chimney cones are stacked on a sugar-coated croissant cone with gelato. We have flavors like birthday cake, strawberries and cream, s'mores, salted caramel, and more.
I love the birthday cake chimney cone topped with a mini cupcake. So good.
Come see us at Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village.
We appreciate your support.
At EasyCater, food for work is our thing. It's literally all we've done for 15 years. Whether you need to feed a meeting or the whole company, we're here to make sure the food is professionally delivered, on time, as ordered, and all within your budget. No wonder we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. Food for work is what we do, and no one knows it better. Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on EasyCater.com. EasyCater, food for work. It's our thing.
Attention, do you suffer from severe fried chicken-related cravings? If so, Kentucky Fried Chicken's $6 two-piece drum and thigh combo may be right for you. The combo contains tasty chicken, creamy mashed potatoes, a flaky biscuit, and an ice-cold drink. Side effects may include more money in your wallet, happiness, and the urge to lick your fingers. Order KFC's two-piece drum and thigh combo in the KFC app for just $6. That's finger-licking good. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Tax extra.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs, or get down with some dumbbells and strength equipment. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, October 14th. It's glow time. See Club for details.
Planning something fun for your office, family, or friends? Joe's Karting is for you. Take a break. Come to Joe's to race, relax, and recharge. Great for team building. Ditch the speaker and burn some rubber. Trust us, Joe says you'll leave motivated. Joe's Karting race packages range from providing simple stress relief races to the real deal race experience. Check us out at joeskarting.com. Remember, go to Joe's, your place to race.
Anti-Nazi, that's a good take.
I'm a very anti-Nazi.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
I'm laughing, don't you? Now, it's time for the Unsportsmanlike Conduct Bet of the Day.
Just a little bit under where some folks would like to see this one wind up.
Brought to you by nobody.
You gotta be kidding me.
Really, we don't have a sponsor. Sorry.
All right. Yesterday, Nick decided to take the Rams to win 30-13 exactly.
They didn't.
That didn't hit. John had the under, and that one hit quite well.
Easy money.
And I had a prop bet where Cooper Kupp had 80 or more receiving yards, Deebo Samuel 80 or more rushing and receiving yards. Those easily hit for plus 250, so a couple winners and one loser. I'm going to go with something we just talked about in Bet of the Day. Aaron Judge does it tonight. Hits a home run, plus 255.
The game has already started, but because on the FanDuel Sportsbook there is live betting.
Promo code 1620.
Might be the last time I get a chance to pick my boys. Cubs plus 114 at Cincinnati.
Astros, White Sox, Brewers plus 387.
Astros, White Sox, Brewers
plus 387.
That's the bet of the day.
Iowa.
Tomorrow, it's a Mitch Holtis party. And you're all invited.
He's on the whole show?
We get to hear that
for
sexy
15
new
minutes.
intro that somebody made.
Yeah, 15 minutes of Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Schaefer. It's a Mike Schaefer party.
Also, maybe somebody else.
Okay.
We're trying for somebody else.
And dumb debates.
It could be the President of the United States.
President B?
It could be, if you get him on the show, Nick. It could be the Vice President of the United States. It could be President T to talk about his new casino coming to the Trump Barn.
Oh, man, the Trump Barn Sportsbook and Casino. This really has potential. It really does. It's perfect location.
Hey, it's right in between.
Now, they don't
Omaha
have
and
an
Lincoln.
exit there, but
Oh,
they'd
yeah,
have
we
to
would need to
build
build an
one.
exit. Yeah.